Okay, thank you everyone
Recording in
for being here
progress.
today. We have council member who's just walking up, but we just finished closed session, and like to ask if we can have the report out from the closed session.
Thank you. This afternoon, the City Council met in closed session at 4 o'clock and took up two performance evaluations, one for the city manager and the city attorney, both regularly scheduled items. And the City Council started but did not complete either one of those, and will be continuing that closed session to the conclusion of this regularly scheduled City Council meeting.
So I'd like to call this meeting in order and ask the city clerk to call roll.
Recording stopped.
For the regular meeting, the following are in attendance. Councilmember Gatewood.
Here.
Councilmember Budge. Here. Councilmember Terry.
Here.
Mayor Sander is not present at this time. And Vice Mayor Pulapati.
Here. Is the city clerk, are we having the meeting, the video recording and playback schedule?
Yes, the meeting of the Rancho Cordova City Council is recorded with closed captioning. The recording will be cablecast on Metro Cable Channel 14, the local government affairs channel on the Comcast and AT&T Uverse cable systems. The recording will also be video streamed at metro14live.saccounty.gov. Today's meeting will replay on Thursday, November 21st at 9 a.m. and Friday, November 22nd at 6 p.m. on Metro Cable Channel 14. Once posted, the recording of this meeting can be viewed on demand at youtube.com/Metro Cable 14. A DVD copy can also be available from the city clerk's office, and a webcast of this meeting will be available on the city's website within 48 hours of adjournment of this meeting.
Thank you. And I'd like to call Matt Chicaro to lead the pledge, and I invite the audience to remain standing for the invocation, which will be led by Mark Shelter with the River City Christian Church.
Good evening, Vice Mayor and council members. It's an honor to lead the Pledge of Allegiance every day, but especially this November as we celebrated Veterans Day. So if you'd all please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Would you pray with me, please? Lord God, we admit that way too often we come to you only in a time of need, and that way too often we come to you only with our complaints. But this is the Thanksgiving season, and it is a reminder to us that we are to give thanks in all circumstances, and that we indeed, as Americans and as citizens of this city and people who work and live and have experiences in this city, we have a lot to be thankful for. So right now, God, we want to say thank you for Rancho Cordova. We want to thank you for those who are here among us who serve our city so well, who give so much of their own time and effort and energy. God, we want to thank you for the diversity of our city, that the nations have come here to Rancho Cordova, and that we get to experience different cultures, different ethnicities, that we get to experience the wonder of all kinds of food and customs and dress. God, we want to thank you today that we have an incredible opportunity to continue to meet the needs of people in this city. God, that you have blessed us with so many material possessions. God, that those of us that are in this room, we have enough to eat. We've got a place to sleep tonight. So God, we thank you for all of that. And we remember that there are those around us who do not have those things. And so, Lord, we would ask that you would help us in our abundance to be able to share those things with others. God, we thank you that we live in a free land. Lord, we thank you that we live in a place where we can express our opinions, that we can express our values. God, we thank you that we are never alone, that you are the God of all people and that you care about every one of us. And so whether today is an easy day or maybe it's a difficult day, that you are with us. And so we want to say thank you, God, and help us to be a thankful people. Help us not just to thank you during Thanksgiving, but that we would thank you all the time, every day, for truly you are with us and you have blessed us. And we pray all of these things in the Savior's name. Amen. Thank you.
Thank you. We have presentations next, and I would like to ask if we can pull up 12.2 first. If council's okay with that? Let's do it. Okay. Okay, we're going to recognize Councilmember Donald Terry.
I don't know him.
Do you want to go up there?
Go on, Donald. You're up front.
Let's say some stuff afterwards.
Do you want this or no?
We'll do our part first.
Okay. Check. Can you guys hear me? Okay. So, as Vice Mayor, since the Mayor is traveling, I have the pleasure to give the proclamation to Councilmember Donald Terry. Donald Terry was first elected to Rancho Cordova City Council in 2012 and was the youngest person elected to date, something that he reminds me at almost every other council meeting. He served as Vice Mayor in 2016 and 2020 and as Mayor in 2017 and 2022. Councilmember Terry and his wife Angela have lived in Rancho Cordova for 15 years in 3 different city neighborhoods, raising their 2 children who attend Rancho Cordova schools and play Rancho Cordova sports. During his time on City Council, Councilmember Terry has championed many causes in the city, including the Rancho Cordova Promise Program, a first-of-its-kind program in the region that offers residents who graduate from high school and now residents who are veterans the ability to attend their first 2 years of college fee-free. And to date, this program has helped 700 students successfully attend college. He's also championed the city's community engagement program that empowers residents to create their own community plans and projects that strengthen their neighborhoods and grow community leaders. He has led the campaign to support the passage of Measure H, a half-cent local sales tax measure that raises an additional $11 million per year to fund community priorities that improve community pride, civic engagement, public safety, arts and culture, and youth for the youth. In addition, Councilmember Terry is an active community volunteer serving as board president of the Sacramento Children's Museum, treasurer of the Greater Sacramento Urban League, board member of Big Brothers, Big Sisters of Greater Sacramento Foundation, and board president of Neighborhood Works, Home Ownership Center, and many others. And so, let it be resolved that the City Council of the City of Rancho Cordova hereby honors Councilmember Donald Terry and encourages all to participate in honoring the spirit of this celebration as an important event in the history of our city.
So we'll come up. We're not done yet, though, so I'll do my parts.
You can all talk.
There's more stuff to come.
Not a one and done. You got to go there.
Wait for Linda.
Actually, could you guys shift a little bit?
Come on, get in here. You guys slide that way. Absolutely. I'll go scoot over this way. I'm not there. I can look over all these people. Dave's not here. I'm the tallest. Yes. Stay here. Stay here. We'll do some stuff.
So I really appreciate all of that you've given to the city, Donald, and family. I'd like to actually present you with a book, a nice photo book, a montage that is great over the last few years of the support and the community outreach and community things that you've done. I really appreciate you personally and the things that you've done for me and giving me the opportunity and helping give the opportunity to serve in this role. And so with that, I really want to say thank you. And really appreciate all the commitment that you've made to both the city, to me, and the community. So really, thank you. So here is your gift, and you can come over here. That's for you. Thank you very much. And I think I will actually have Lori Ann come up because she's got some special gifts, I think, for the boys. So let's have Lori Ann come present some of those.
These two boys are dear to our heart.
We're on TV.
Excuse me.
Microphone.
Bringing it down. These two boys are dear to our heart. You're all that we've known, right? So we would like for you to have these. Please come up here. And if you take a look at them, you're an honorary Employee Kids Day member for life.
So I think for those, we do have a Kids Day where all the team members come and bring their kids for a day, and really appreciated the family coming. And I think it's now a lifetime membership to the Kids Day opportunity. So you can never get too old for it. So that's great.
I will say, when I decided not to run and we let them know, that was the first question that they was, were they allowed to come?
Yes, you can still come. So we're good. So I really appreciate it. And I think we'll ask Matt Chicotto to maybe come do his presentation as well.
Oh.
Twice in one night I get to come up here. I'm honored. Okay, it's good to be here. Donald, it's good to see you. I'm here on behalf of Congressman Barra, who, as we know, is stuck in Washington, D.C., doing some legislative business. But so I'm here. You're all I've known, too. You started on the council. You were elected about the same time I started in the office. And I know that from ribbon cuttings to working in the community to doing things across the way, it was always fun and easy to do in Rancho Cordova because we had a friend in Rancho Cordova because we had a friend in you. And we appreciate everything. I know the congressman would say the same thing, but seriously, for myself, from all the ribbon cuttings, from the advice you have given me over the years and the times we have ran into each other at the countless hours, I can't thank you enough for the smile and everything else in between. So congratulations on the retirement and best wishes.
Thank you very much.
So I think we also have a great proclamation from the County Board of Supervisors that's here as well that you could take with you, but I think we'll allow you to go back to your spot and say the things or stay here, or if you'd like to. Yeah, let's do it. You want any of those?
We'll take this one.
Yeah.
So, thank you, everyone. And yes, I am retiring as still the youngest member of this council. So, wanted to get that out of the way, but I do have a lot of thank yous. I wrote down some of them, and I'm sorry if I forget anybody. But I'll start with my wife, who we started dating, and probably 2 or 3 months later, I decided to run for school board. Unmarried, got elected at 29 years old, no kids. We got married the next summer. 4 years later, I got elected to the city council, and that kid sitting there was on her lap at 1.5-year-old. And I remember apologizing to some of the staff afterwards by saying, I'm really sorry that my son was so talkative during that council meeting. Somebody goes, no, it's great. Like, you know, the difference that I was making in coming to the council and being considerably younger and in a different kind of phase of my life than some of my colleagues really gave me a unique perspective. But I will say that I thank my wife, I thank my sons for a lot of time away. They've only known me like this. And I really thank you all for allowing me to do this for as long as I have. I really think this is going to bug me that much. There's a lot of things I'm not going to miss about this job. I'm not going to miss these meetings. But I'm going to miss the people, and I'm going to miss a lot of the work that I get to do and that I've gotten to do. One thing missing from that proclamation is not only Measure H, but Measure R too, was something I worked a lot on getting past. And when you look at the trajectory of this city and where we're going in the next 10, 15, 20 years, you can look at the city just to the east of here, who tried to pull off in this past election what we've done over the last 12 years. And they failed. This city has trusted this council, this community, this institution with additional resources that have allowed us to do things that other cities and other communities in this region and in this state and in this country could only dream of. And we have that little thing called revenue neutrality just around the corner. And I will bet if you look at communities that keep turning down tax initiatives like they're doing in other communities, but have entrusted that kind of resources with a city of this size, we will be one of the safest cities in this country, because you will not be able to spend the amount of money on public safety that you would need to keep up with what we're going to do comparatively to what other cities are going to have to cut. And so I'm really excited for the trajectory of this community. Some other thank yous. Thank you, Micah, for coming back from Stockton. I never thought we should have lent you part-time to that stinking city, because I knew we were going to lose you to that. But thank you for coming back. Thank you for accepting to take this job. The fact that you were sitting in that seat is one of the reasons I felt comfortable not running again. And I really trust you and the senior team that you put in place to run this place. Stacy, thank you for your friendship, your guidance, your patience with me over the years, and keeping me in the right places at the right times and on task. Somebody who's not here tonight, Andrea, who, for those of you who don't know, is, when it comes to travel or meetings or just about anything, if you want to get on my calendar, that's the person you go through here. And the constant text messages and following up on the email that I didn't read for the third time that she sent it, thank you for your patience and your support. And Lorianne, if there's one person in this city that I can say that when I got here was being completely underutilized, and I remember the meeting that it happened. VSP wanted to do a build day and help fix up somebody's house. And it turned out Lorianne went and got all the paint and all the materials and all the stuff and helped coordinate 20, 30 people to go fix up somebody's house and paint their house and fix their yard and some other stuff. And we were recognizing the people from VSP that night and all of Lorianne's work. And David, when it got done, and David goes, there ought to be a nonprofit that does this. Like, this is just crazy how much work Lorianne had to do. And I can't believe that there's not somebody out there doing that. And at the time I worked for a corporate foundation, and we funded a nonprofit called Rebuilding Together that did that. And I raised my hand and I said, well, by God, we could go pay a nonprofit to do it. And all Lorianne would have to do is find the people to do it. But the real catalyst of it was after meeting Rebuilding Together, somebody at Citibank asked me to come out and meet with Soilborne Farms and Rebuilding Together to figure out how they could do a service day. And Lorianne, if you learn nothing else about Lorianne, she sits in the room and they go, okay, we have all the money to do these projects. We just need a bunch of volunteers to show up and do this. And we can even coordinate all the projects. And Lorianne looks them in the face and goes, wait. The only thing you need me to do is find people to come and volunteer. That's it? I don't have to do anything else? In her mind, that's an easy thing to do. And to take what she was doing there, which was so much more simplistic than the leader and the asset that you are today and what you've learned around asset-based community development and community engagement and community organizing. I remember you going to your first NeighborWorks Training Institute or even the Leaders Institute and explaining that we pay you to go organize neighborhoods, to work on projects, and to work on us to get things done at the city council level and other things. People actually didn't believe you at first, that the cities are always the enemy. And you completely changed that here. And you start off as a volunteer coordinator, and you are by far, in my opinion, the brightest shining example of what this city should be doing and be working on. Our neighborhood engagement thing, our program, in my opinion, is by far one of the most impactful things that has ever happened at this city. And it's because of your leadership and your willingness to jump in and work on these things and to learn things and train people on how to do it. So thank you for what you've done. Yeah, there's a lot of other things I'm really proud of. The Promise program, I think, is one of it doesn't even compare to any other Promise program in this country. And I won't get into all of the boring details, but it's way beyond just tuition free now. We're giving everyone grants, $1,800 or so a year to go to community college. And if you look at other programs, some students are getting $200 if they apply for their program. And we're giving it directly to them, and we're seeing the impact of that. So one of the things that wasn't on that list, too, is I'm the treasurer of the Los Rios College Foundation. And that's because of the work that we've done here. And that program at Folsom Lake College beats every Promise program in this country, and there are hundreds, if not thousands of them. What we do for students in this community and raising the bar and removing barriers to higher education and breaking the cycle of poverty is we are the envy of tons of communities in this country. When I go to National League of Cities working groups and other things like that, and we talk about what we're doing with this, and it just blows the doors off comparatively to what Promise programs are doing across the country. So again, thank you to everyone that's here, that is going to be here, because I'm not going to be in these meetings anymore, and I'm not sad about that. But the only other thing I'd ask, because I see my friend Diane Rogers sitting over there, is I'm the only council member that goes and plays in the golf tournament. That's got to change. Somebody on this council has to start playing golf, because it can't just be me anymore. But again, thank you to everyone that's working here and working so hard. I'm only a phone call away if y'all need something, but I won't be here at 9 o'clock at night on Mondays anymore, so don't ask. But again, thank you all for the honor and everything else, but it's been absolutely the honor of my life to serve this community. Thank you.
Thank you, Council Member. I'd like to open it up for public comment. If anybody wants to come up and say something.
Diane, you submitted a speaker card. Diane Rogers.
Thank you. And I am Diane Rogers, President and CEO of the Rancho Cordova Area Chamber of Commerce. Donald, I just want to thank you for so many things, but a few that I do want to call out. Your support for the business community has been incredible, and so much that you just care so deeply about what is the very best for Rancho Cordova. One of the things I've always admired about you, I always know exactly where I stand with you. You've always been transparent about whatever challenge, whatever issue it may be. I've always known exactly where I stand with you, and it's a quality that I can't always say that a lot of elected officials offer, so I want to thank you for that in particular. I've appreciated your counsel, your advice, both professionally and politically, and your insight on issues large and small. Some specific memories, your support, as you mentioned, for our golf tournament. Thank you for that, and I appreciate it, and I hope we see you back playing with some of the other foursomes. And our elected officials reception, I know you've made it a priority in your life, and I thank you for that. Our cap-to-cap memories have been pretty good. Good for Rancho, good for the chamber and the region. And don't worry, I actually did make it into the White House. That's an inside joke. I'm happy watching. Yes, I know, and I appreciate that. I've enjoyed watching your family come alongside you on this journey in support of Rancho, watching your boys grow up in front of all of us. And just overall, thank you for your time, your commitment, and your passion for our community, and we're grateful. Thanks.
Those are all the speaker cards I have. Those are all the speaker cards that I have for item 12.2.
Colleagues?
All right. Angela's here. I have to be polite. All right. Stubborn, pig-headed, loyal, protective, hardworking, future, and heart of gold. So when I was owned a company in Rancho Cordova, and one of our friends up here passed away, and there was 43 others that were looking to run for office. And this man took a chance on the first African-American politician to run in this area. I am also stubborn, pig-headed, hard to sway, easily led astray, but he helped me to understand what it meant to be a good council member, good politician, good Democrat, and a good representation of our community. Donald, you can call it any time at night. He's usually up because me and him have massive ADHD. And he will pick up the phone and tell you what he really thinks of a problem, which is a blessing in disguise because most people try to hide themselves. And I've never had Donald try to manipulate me in any way, shape, or form. He just tells you how he thinks it is and then always gets the votes for it. He is literally probably the best politician I've ever seen in my life. I've never seen a guy be able to work the room, go up there and get the votes and get something through. I think it's a magical power. And honestly, having him on council allowed us to open up to such an amazing thing. Like the Promise program, the fact that he went away to a group, met a bunch of people, helped invent the Mandarins, the Promise program, sat on the Children's Museum. He sits on more boards than I even know what to do with just because he's a banker and they want him to control the money. And so he basically not only sits there, but he also changes out the board members to be something that will help the people take those next steps. And I think that's what he did here. Donald and I will both be transitioning, but him transition early is just annoying because he's first again. And younger, less hair, but still running. I honestly treasure every moment that we spent together. There's so many things that you guys will never get to hear about, but Donald and I did throughout the years to protect citizens. And I will leave you on literally my favorite story. Let me see, make sure the kids are still watching. Okay, the second most favorite story. Later when you turn 18. Donald and I, we really care. If you guys didn't know this, Donald grew up in a lower socioeconomic family, and basically through his hard work and his struggles has been able to build into this amazing man that he is today. Not a lot of people know that, but he pulled himself up by his own bootstraps and turned himself into literally one of the powerhouses in this community. And so he still has a heart for people that live in those kind of conditions. And so we were working on the trailer park communities that we have throughout our thing, and they were bullying them. And if you guys don't know this, the next step, if you can't find affordable housing and you're in trailer park housing, is homelessness. And so a lot of those people, if the price keeps going up, our citizens were getting booted out of their homes and were going to become homeless people in the city of Rancho Cordova. And Donald's like, we have got to do something. And he's like, I think the best thing for us to do is to pass a bill doing rent control on this kind of stuff. Well, if you know anything about rent control, the hard part about rent control is when you force somebody to keep rent at a certain value, they no longer invest back into that property, which thereby makes apartments and stuff just go terrible. And I didn't know what to do. And we were sitting in these meetings, and Donald's like, well, we should go in with a strong hand. And so he and the community and all our council members up here, we passed rent control. But he said, I'm going to hold it right here.
Space rent control.
Space
for
rent
mobile
control.
homes.
And if you guys don't come to the table and play nice and do something that's going to help our community, we're just going to go ahead and let this go into law. And so we sat with these individuals, and they basically gave us everything we ever wanted to help out our citizens without having to implement rent control. And this was just because he knew exactly how to massage the whole thing about being a politician into getting, not only did the people that ran the trailer parks give us, help for all the community members that were running on hard times, reports to talk with our staff, a better idea of the books they're running into, any problems they may have, but they also agreed not to raise the rents above what people's livelihoods were coming. So whatever CPI was, they were going to keep it at that. And I honestly believe you can see Donald's heart with how hard he fought to get that through. And no one will ever know this, but that basically helped out hundreds of citizens in Rancho Cordova be able to stay in their home. And those family members and those elderly and those people living in those conditions now can thank their lucky stars because Donald has made it so they will never have to leave or get kicked out of those facilities. And so that's the kind of person that we're losing. And I honestly think we're a little worse for not having you here, because you seriously are one of the souls of Rancho Cordova. There's only 3 of them up here, not me and Siri, because we're tech guys. We don't care about anything, ones and zeros. But between you, Linda, and David, you literally made Rancho Cordova a safe place for, I think, most our community. And you can tell the laws and statutes and stuff we passed, you always had Rancho Cordova first and the care of our city. So for me, you're a blessing. You've been a coach for my sons. You've helped out my community. You moved next door so we could always see each other's face to face every day. And I think that having you not up here is going to be sad. And I will call you and text you every Monday from now on to FaceTime you so you can be still part of this meeting.
Yeah, it's really cool. It's really cool that I know how to silent my phone.
That's all right, because I'm a hacker and I will fix that for you. Thank you for what you did. Thank you for helping my family. Thank you for being the wall against bad stuff coming in this meeting. And thank you for educating me, because without you, I would have never been the politician I am today.
So I would simply say that Donald, as everyone knows, was actually the first person that we had who was new on city council. But there was an asset having a person who was younger, simply because he brought a different perspective than had been represented before. Not that we were all old, but we were all definitely not as young as he was. And I think we all benefited from that and really appreciated that. So thank you.
Yeah. So I would like to say thank you, Donald Terry, for your service as a council member. I know you have been the youngest and you've been saying that, but definitely you bring this whole vibrant self to this podium. And, coming from the private industry, it was very easy for me to, when I asked questions, I think you were the first person that understood what I was asking, and kind of a very straightforward, and your ability to get straight to the point and answer that question, that was really beneficial to me and everybody. So I really appreciate that. Your background in education, I think in poli-science, definitely shows at every council meeting. And I look toward you for advice on some of those things when it comes with the laws and the structure. So I truly appreciate that. We're really going to miss having that viewpoint here. Unfortunately, the youngest title is going to be taken by somebody else. It's not going to pass on to me. So I think that statement will stay in this room, but I truly appreciate the time and dedication that you've given for so many years. And not just you, also to Angela. I think she has been brought up as many times as you have been brought up to your service and commitment to the city. So I thank both of you for your service and commitment to the city. Thank you.
And they had to run out because Keaton's soccer party is right now for the end of the season. So he's trying to get over there and get a piece of pizza and his trophy. So, but the other one wanted to stay with his suit. So. You look great in that suit. All right. Next item.
Okay, with that, we will go on to presentation 12.1, which is Visit Rancho Cordova Annual Report by Marks.
Sorry, Mark, for taking that out of order, but he had to get to that party.
No, it's great to be here on this auspicious occasion and to be here to, celebrate everything that you've done. I want to second and third what everybody else has said. Appreciate everything that you've done for this community, and it's going to leave a legacy, certainly that you and your family can be very proud of. And we appreciate your support of Visit Rancho Cordova too. You've always been a great supporter of what we're trying to do here with, keep people coming into our city and create business opportunities. So with that, thank you. It's great to be here. So without further ado, Mark Sapoznik. I am president and CEO of Visit Rancho Cordova. Vice Mayor Pulapati and Councilmember Terry Budge and Gatewood. It's a pleasure to be here to be able to talk to you briefly about our annual report. We didn't get you a book as nice as what Micah was showing earlier. However, we do have an annual report that is attached to a bag that has some of the materials that we've been working on here over the past year. And so this will give you a little bit to follow along with as we talk about what we've been up to. Again, before I really get into the meat of this, I wanted to say that we have our team with us here, and I couldn't be more proud because when you look at the accomplishments that we're talking about in this annual report, it's really the team that is out there every day working to promote Rancho Cordova. And so I wanted to give just a quick introduction to the team members that we have in the audience with us here today. We have from the marketing department, we have Aubrey Hall. We also have Kristen Oxiger. So thank you there. On the sales side, we've got Maggie Thyken-Huss, who's our director of sales, and her coordinator, Isabella Shanker. And we also have our VP of operations, Don Hall, who really keeps everything going and flowing for us. So I just wanted to thank them, and this is reflective of the work that they have done and contributed to the community here. All right, and let me move us ahead a little bit here. All right. So, when you get down to the basics of what we're here to do, we're obviously working to bring visitors to our community, keep the hotels full. We want our restaurants to be busy with people coming in, the bars in our Barrel District and so forth, and the retail and small businesses. All of that is impacted by bringing tourism into the city here. So definitely, our efforts are often not seen here in the city because we are out and about, and sometimes it's in other parts of the country, as I'll talk about with the sales team. Sometimes it's outside the country and working to bring people in, but we're full-time on working to bring this business into Rancho Cordova. All right. Okay, so how do we promote Rancho Cordova? On the marketing side, we obviously work with a whole host of number of events on an annual basis, and this past year, we were able to bring in a couple of new events and enhance some of the events that have been on our typical agenda for on an annual basis. But Paddle Splash is one of the events that took place out here at Lake Natoma this year, and we were able to provide sponsorship to that event. And that's something that is has a lot of potential to grow, but definitely during that time, you could go around to our hotels and you'd see these paddle boards up on the roofs. It's easy to tell when that event was in town, but that's just one example. The Mermaid Convention that takes place here out at Hagen Park at the pool at Hagen Park, that has had worldwide attention, and we're very excited. That continues to grow. both in terms of number of attendees, and they have the potential, to grow, to expand beyond what they're doing at this time too. I think in terms of time allotment. We've got some really great rowing events that are going to be coming up here to bring some national rowing events back into the community, things that we sponsor on that side. And, this past year we spent about $88,000 on sponsorships for local organizations, other organizations to bring events into the community. That doesn't include our in-kind support for these events, but that creates the opportunity to bring them in, fill our hotels, and participate in dining and seeing the attractions and really enjoying their time here in Rancho Cordova. So, on the marketing side, we're constantly evolving. You can see, from the report here, website views over the past year, we're at 540,000. Social media, we're getting, literally millions of views on social media, the channels and the outlets that we're utilizing there. So that gets to a wide number of people. Our email marketing has really been ramped up with Kristen on the team now. She has great writing skills. And this past year, we had 69 newsletters go out. So you may not receive all 69 newsletters because some of them are very targeted to meeting planners and other event organizers and so forth. But many of them are going out to, to address people who can either visit or bring business into the community. So that was a big number compared to what we've done in the past. 69 was a big number for sure. When it comes to events too, we work with all types of events. We worked with the Air Show, which is on the cover of this year's annual report. And I'm sure many of you enjoyed the show this year with quite a spectacular show, having both U.S. Air Force Thunderbirds out there and, the team from Italy. It was just pretty incredible. So we're looking forward to, we know the air show is coming up quickly again for this upcoming year. We're doing some special programs to promote that and very excited. We've got, we've been talking the last couple of days. We've got an Expedia campaign lined up that will help promote room night stays for that event. We also do a lot of independent marketing for that event as well. And speaking of that, the one addition to the air show that we've been integral in terms of arranging and orchestrating has been kind of the creation of the Hangar, a new venue out there. Our team created, not only the logo, but the creative look and everything, and worked to develop that project with the team over at the air show. And it's really become quite an amenity, an event in its own right out there at the air show. So very happy, with what we've been able to do with that. And the Barrel District itself, we over this past year, we have our marketing agency of record is Madden Media. And they worked on bringing together some writers to come into Rancho Cordova. And a few of these writers focused on the Barrel District and really did a great job. And so we're able to get us several articles in publications that had both local and national reach. So that was very exciting to, kind of see that. So we also secured through that some extra advertising and beer news for the Barrel District too, which was kind of fun. In case you didn't know, there was a beer news. Yeah. It was news to me too. Yeah. All right. And then on the sales side, they had a really terrific year this past year too. A few years ago, we didn't even have a sales team at all, so we were just kind of independently picking up what we could. But now that we have a dedicated sales team, they're really doing a lot to drive business. We were just talking earlier today that Maggie attends a number of shows all across the country. And during these shows, this past year, she had over 360 appointments with meeting planners or event organizers or people who can bring business into Rancho Cordova. So it was a pretty strong number. And what it means ultimately is that she was able to deliver over 50,000 room night opportunities into the city over the past year. And that's a pretty significant number when you look at the percentages of what we drive overall, and having an additional opportunity for up to 50,000 room nights definitely makes a difference for the hotels and for the community. When I say that too, I should mention that just this past year has been an interesting year because we saw the decline in visitation due to post-pandemic. During the pandemic and as we came out of the pandemic, people were traveling like crazy, and then it dropped off. There was a little bit of a drop off after they got that out of their system. And that was across the United States, and especially in California, you saw some of that happening too. Well, we were able to still keep a good number of people flowing into our destination, but it did drop off just a couple percentage points. But having the sales team out there working on these other events and bringing in opportunities for future events, we feel really confident and bullish on the opportunities that are going to be coming up in the future. So more to come on that. They also did a number of meeting planner fam trips, which they bring out meeting planners, and many of these are from the East Coast. Some were located here in California or Western states, but again, much of it was coming from the East Coast. And what was fantastic about this is to show them the destination, have them experience the various things that we do have in our community, whether it be soil-borne farms or an event out on the river, other things that really make Rancho Cordova. And the feedback we got from these meeting planners was incredibly positive. When you look at the feedback that we get from the planners versus what you might see sometimes in some local studies, these meeting planners were very excited about what Rancho Cordova has to offer. They view it as a very safe place and really a very positive place to visit. So again, that's something that Maggie and the team lead up, and we're always thrilled to have these people out because they can bring business, but also we do a lot of focus group work with them too, so we can really understand the destination and where we could do things to improve the market here as well. So let's see. They also conducted a destination analysis, and that was really terrific. So happy that they were able to do that, and that's with local folks that join us for focus groups. They help us determine what can work best for the tourist and the traveler coming into our market. And then we also launched this year, and I know Councilmember Budge actually has some of our merch. So we have, this year we were able to get out some shirts and sweatshirts and other things. And much to our surprise, we thought it would be a great addition because we would get these comments from people who are here like, hey, where can I get a shirt? And we were like, somewhat limited, but anyhow, we put this merch site up, and a lot of people are ordering the shirts, and so it's really been fun to see that too.
Selling them.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah. So anyhow, with that, we're looking at future. We're going to be integrating we've been talking about some new marketing ideas that kind of tie in with what's available now with AI and so forth. And I think that will give us even better leverage to be more effective as a tourism bureau. But again, with the work the team's doing right now, I'm very proud of what they're doing. I think that there's a lot that we can lean on here and how we promote Rancho Cordova and how we're keeping it top of mind for visitors that are planning meetings, sporting events, and even just travel into this capital region. So that's that side of it. And I know in addition to the visitor, we had a visitor's guide and some other materials that were included in a bag for you all that you can just see up there. That's just some of the material that we produced over the past year. We're constantly updating that. So just keep that in mind that there'll be new versions of that coming out very shortly. And we did provide to the city backup on the financial report that accompanies this particular document. So that's available as well. And we're always an open book. If you want to talk to us, we're happy to engage. So thank you.
Thank you. Colleagues, questions?
Yeah, I have a question, Mark, and I guess it's a little bit of a challenge. But, if you think back about the fact that the Sacramento region historically has been so quiet, and I can remember ages ago, one of the first goals was to get mentioned in the Wall Street Journal, and actually the Kings coming to town kind of took care of that. But then the goal was to get mentioned or to have an article in one of the airline magazines, but the airlines all stopped printing magazines. So the question is, what's next for you? What do you figure the goal that's the equivalent of that? Where is it you want to be recognize that would tell everybody that Rancho Cordova is what you all say it is?
Yeah. So the media environment is changing rapidly, and you're kind of seeing it in all disciplines. The way that people consume, like magazines, not as big a deal as they used to be, but people are still interested in printed materials at a certain level. And for instance, at the airport, we have a new visitor's guide that's in the airport. Over the past few months, over 1,000 of those have been taken while people are coming into town. So we are participating in some print here and there, but most of it is digital these days. And that's kind of where you kind of win or lose is, working through those channels. We're even talking about, we have a presence on TikTok, we have a presence on, Facebook, Instagram, and so forth. But we're looking at some other channels that are starting to rise up a little bit. I think those will be important avenues. Utilizing, it could be even for podcasters to have some presence on some of those shows where they do reach a large audience. We work with influencers on the internet. And some of those big travel influencers, we've had a few in town already, and we'll have some more coming up. So I think there are a whole host of ways, and I'm very excited even, with what AI is going to do. There are some new tools that are coming to be available that will help the consumer make their trip much easier. And it make it easier for us to get the information to them that they're looking for. So
Do the influencers include people like William Shatner?
It would be great. I think we'll have to put Shatner on the list. Yeah.
Yeah. So, I have two questions. I love the idea of merch. Where are you selling these? I mean, how do residents get a hold of this? Where can they buy it?
Yeah, just go to visitranchocordova.com.
Yeah, so they have to know to go. How would you be able to put it like in the local stores, like the Walgreens and Walmart? Or, I don't know about Walmart, but the locals. I've seen some at Walgreens. So can you put it at the local stores?
That's a good question. We haven't gone that route at this time because most of the people that were queuing up for purchases are people who are visiting that we have a connection with in some way. But we could certainly look at that.
Those Rancho Cordova Monopoly sets were like Target, weren't they, for a while?
Well,
yeah. So I don't see why not. But we haven't gone that retail route, but certainly something we can look at.
Well, if you don't go for it, we'll go for it first.
Yeah.
Yeah, so Siri's right.
We should have a gift shop in City
Even
Hall.
CVS has Cordova High shirts from time to time.
Yeah.
My other question is, audience, and this might be a poll. How many of you like the name The Cho? Raise your hands. No way. You do like it?
Wait.
Okay,
Keep your hands up if you do. Hang on. How many of you have lived here more than 20 years?
That doesn't matter.
No. Linda knows this. And I'm going to share a little bit. Something I was schooled on when I first got on council, again, is the new kid and the young kid on the council. The Cho used to be considered a derogatory description of our city for a long time. And then a brewery in town decided to put it on a shirt without asking people that lived here for a long time, and it became this kind of hip, trendy way to do it. I'm just sharing with you, there's a large part of this community that would consider that not a nice thing. Yeah. So there are two sides to that. And again, I'm not judging anybody that's been here a while. Like the thing said, I've lived here for 15 years. I learned when I got on council, you don't say that. And then all of a sudden there were hats and T-shirts and tank tops with that all over it.
Coming from a marginalized people that take words and flip it from negative to positive all the time, it's now a positive.
No, but I agree.
Listen, a guy in Korea.
I've lived here long enough to know both sides of that.
So there's a CEO of a major
the last row.
firm.
Are you guys from Visit Rancho? Okay, your vote doesn't count.
There's a group. There is a CEO of one of the top 2 Korean firms, and the thing that was going around being like, I can't wait to get a shirt with the Cho on it.
Okay,
it's working. We ain't going back.
We are going back.
There's a lot of shirts and a lot of hats.
No. I think this is a time we do take action because, Mark, I'm not comfortable with the word Cho. not just in general, it does bring up different connotations. And when we are trying to promote our city, we have to ensure that it doesn't tie to anything with negative connotations at any point. So just FYI.
Yeah, I appreciate your comment on that. I mean, most of the people who are wearing the shirts, because we have a lot of people who love Cho shirts. They don't live here, but they love that connection. Like, oh, that's cool, you know. And so, but I appreciate your comment.
You didn't know that you had made something. Listen, bad is good, good is bad. Welcome to the 2020s. You don't even know that. You didn't know that? You get your Mills Crossing shirt next to the Cho on the side down low.
Y'all better get a better name than Mills Crossing by the time that thing goes.
Don't worry, we got something. We're working on it. Linda's got something about rivers and some winery thing. We're good.
Thank you, Mark. Anything else, colleagues?
No, thank you. Thank you for all the work that you're doing. I know we're always in this unique situation when it comes to our hotels that so much of it is business related travel that is coming back still. But it's one of the reasons that we didn't lose hotels during the pandemic because we still had contract with OES and a lot of other folks over here. And so it makes you have, I would say, a fairly unique job for the job that you have, because most of your colleagues are trying to figure out how to get big conventions and businesses to bring in things. And for the most part, it's getting the recreational stuff and getting filled up on Friday, Saturday, and Sundays that are more of what we're always trying to do. And so it's almost like flipping your model on its head comparatively. So, which is fun because you end up talking about all of the fun things that we can do here, which is a benefit to everyone that lives here anyways, even if you're not staying in a hotel.
Yeah.
So thank you.
A lot of things you can do. So thank you. Yeah,
you.
appreciate that. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Cho out.
I would just
So
add that
the next part of our presentation is Mayor David Sanders' birthday is this month. He is on. He is on. So he's here. He just dialed in for us to sing him his happy birthday song. Yes. Okay.
Ready?
Ready.
1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear David. From the Cho. Happy birthday to you. Woo! I love it. What are we down to? 7 people? Awesome. Happy birthday, David. I know you're in there. In New Jersey.
Thank
that
you.
came across as a solo, Garrett, just so you know.
That's right. And you know what? It was wonderful hearing it. Look, my vibrato is on fire.
Thank you, David. Thank you, colleagues.
Happy birthday, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mayor, I'm going to take it to public comment next.
Yeah, please keep running the meeting, Siri. My internet connection here is quite bad.
Sounds good.
Must be in New Jersey.
I was going to say, your microphone is also either not really close or not picking up very well.
Yeah,
make sure to,
not good.
Yeah, make sure to project.
So members of the public wishing to address the council for any matter not on the agenda may do so at this time by completing and submitting a speaker card to the city clerk. For items on the agenda, speakers will be called by the vice mayor at the point on the agenda when the item will be heard. Speakers are encouraged to keep comments to 3 minutes or less and to state name and community of residence. Under the provisions of the California Government Code, the City Council is prohibited from discussing or taking immediate action on any item not on the agenda unless it can be demonstrated to be of an emergency nature or the need to take immediate action arose after the posting of the agenda. I'll ask the city clerk to announce public comment.
Yes, we'll start with Rebecca Light. Following Rebecca Light will be Samantha Stringer and then Siddharth. You'll have up to 3 minutes. And if you need to adjust the microphones.
Thank you very much, Stacey. Good afternoon, council members. I am Rebecca Light. I reside in Cordova Meadows. And I came here tonight not really knowing what to say. Our group has been coming to you for over 6 months now to ask that the ceasefire resolution created in partnership with Jewish Voices for Peace is put on an agenda for future consideration. And that's been denied. And so I'm sitting here and I'm thinking, what can I say? Who am I? I'm not special. I'm a person. I'm one person. I don't know what to tell you. But then I heard the invocation, which was lovely. I don't think the pastor is still here. But I thought it was so interesting that everyone was bowing their heads and praying, which, by the way, I am religious. And we thanked God for the food that we eat and the shelter that we have. I thought that was interesting because 2 million people currently don't have that in Gaza. And so I'm still sitting here and I'm thinking, okay, what else could I say? What could I say? I could invoke, Kwame Ture, who I was browsing the internet one night and came upon a 70s speech that he gave. It was a talk, and he was saying, that religion, same as revolution, can be misused by people, and we need to judge it not by the adherents, but by the principles of the religion. And I thought that was beautiful. So it makes me question sometimes when I see people bow their head and pray and thank God for the things that they have, but then not extend that to other people. And then I was struck by Councilmember Gatewood's speech, I suppose, about Councilmember Terry's leaving, about the displacement of folks in our city that he prevented. And that's wonderful. We want people in their homes. We don't want people to be displaced. We don't want to see gentrification. We want people to live where they live and flourish. Yes, I know that this is true. So why are we not putting this on the agenda for conversation, community conversation? We fought so hard to keep a couple hundred people in their homes when 1.9 million are currently displaced out of a population of 2 million. So please, I urge you to consider and placing the ceasefire resolution that our group has made, again, in conjunction, in partnership with the Jewish Voices for Peace, on the agenda for future consideration. Thank you and have a good night.
Alrighty. Hello, Rancho Cordova City Council and Vice Mayor. I would like to bring to attention this picture right here. This is a picture of Hind Rajab. She is a 6-year-old girl. She was evacuating Gaza City by car with her uncle, aunt, and 3 cousins on January of this year. While attempting to leave Gaza City, Rajab and her relatives were shelled at and shot by Israeli forces. As the last person alive in the car, the 6-year-old girl hid from an approaching Israeli tank amongst the bodies of her dead family. When in contact with emergency services, Rajab pleaded over and over for someone to save her. The conversation was interrupted by gunfire before phones disconnected. Both paramedics that were dispatched to save Rajab died when Israeli forces bombed their ambulance. I would also like to bring to your attention this picture right here. This is a picture of Dr. Adnan Al-Bursh. He was a renowned orthopedic surgeon at Al-Shifa Hospital in Gaza who was providing necessary medical care to displaced Palestinians. He was a husband and father of 5 children. He was arrested and detained by Israeli soldiers, along with other medical professionals who were providing care to displaced Palestinians. He died in Ofer prison, a prison that is led by the Israeli government that has detained Palestinians, and he was physically, sexually, and psychologically tortured by the prison guards and to the point that he passed away. These are just 2 stories of hundreds of thousands of Palestinians who were killed since the Israeli attacks in response to October 7th. The International Court of Justice has ruled that Israel's conduct after October 7th has been ruled as genocidal in nature. And I've had several people here who've asked, about like an other side to this. And I want to level with everyone here and say that, yes, there is another side. I will not condone the actions by Hamas, and I 100% feel for the Israeli people who've lost their relatives to violence that was instigated by Hamas. And that being said, there is no excuse, There is no context and there is no history that can justify conducting a genocide towards Palestinian people or any people, regardless of their race or cultural background. And in the case, I understand that people are hurting terribly, but they don't have the right to take out their anger on people that had nothing to do, that did not cause these attacks, especially and they cannot purposely target children, especially some who are younger than 1 year of age. A ceasefire resolution is not going to solve this Israel-Palestine conflict that has been going on for the past 70 years.
Please wrap up your comments.
Okay. However, this is a step towards in the right direction. It is a step towards peace and equality. Please stand with us and adopt a ceasefire resolution. Thank you very much for having me here.
Next speaker is Siddharth.
Dear Mayor and City Council members, my name is Siddharth, and I'm proud to call Rancho Cordova my home and to be a student at Pleasant Grove High School. I'm speaking here in front of you with a heavy heart, deeply concerned about recent hate-driven attack on BAP's Sri Swaminarayan Temple in Mather. This incident, where racist and xenophobic messages were painted on temple's walls and water lines were intentionally damaged, marks the second such attack on a Hindu temple in the U.S. in just the past month. It's also the fourth attack in California in the last 10 months. These aren't just acts of vandalism. For many of us in the Hindu community, temples aren't just a place of worship. They're centers of gathering, cultural exchange, and spiritual growth. When these sacred spaces are attacked, they send a chilling message that we aren't safe in the places that matter to us the most. This attack is Hinduphobia. It threatens the core values we all share: respect, tolerance, and the freedom to practice one's belief without fear. These messages, these hateful acts send is that Hindu Americans who have been contributing to the social and cultural fabric of this country for decades don't belong. This is both heartbreaking and deeply unsettling. The attack on the temple in Mather isn't just an isolated incident. It's an assault on the very idea of religious freedom, one of the founding principles of our U.S. democracy. When the acts of Hinduphobia go unchecked, they corrupt the trust we place in our public spaces and plant seeds of fear in communities that have been essential to American society for generations. I'm asking the city and law enforcement to continue supporting the investigation into this crime and to ensure that those responsible are held accountable. But beyond that, as a community, we need to come together to stand against this type of intolerance. We have to educate others about the strength and beauty that diversity brings to our society. Our city's diversity is one of its greatest assets. It's incredibly disheartening to witness hate-fueled acts that try to tear down the unity we have worked so hard to build. As we move forward, I hope the City Council will consider supporting initiatives that promote interfaith dialogue, cultural awareness, and community engagement. We need bold steps that promote understanding, empathy, and ultimately a safer, more inclusive for all of us, regardless of our faith or background. Thank you for taking the time to listen. I look forward to hearing about the actions our city will take to prevent further acts of hate. We would be very happy to engage with the city to educate further on this important and concerning matter. Dhanyavad. Thank you.
Next speaker is Shada Kashi.
Hello, namaste. My name is Satakshi, and I'm a freshman at Folsom Lake Community College, and I'm actually here to thank you today. Currently, a few months ago was Hindu Heritage Month, and it holds a deep meaning for the Hindu community here in Rancho Cordova. The month is more than recognizing of our cultural roots, but it symbolizes the commitment to diversity, inclusion, and respect for all faith and tradition, not just Hinduism. By embracing the importance of Hindu heritage, We strengthen our bond within our city, highlighting the values and unity, understanding that we all cherish. Hinduism is one of the oldest living traditions, often timeless wisdom and universal truth. The principles of dharma, karma, and seva, helping others selflessly, are valued and resonate beyond the Hindu communities. Practices like yoga, medicine, and festivals remind us of principles contributing to a peaceful and harmonious society. Through this celebration, we can share these teachings with others and spreading kindness and compassion. On behalf of the Hindu community, I sincerely thank you for supporting our cultural heritage and the making us feel seen, heard, and understood. Your leadership in embracing diversity inspires the future generation to celebrate cultural heritage with open heart and minds. Hindu Heritage Month is also a unique opportunity to educate and engage with others, showcasing the depth and the vibrancy of our tradition and fostering community where everyone is heard. Again, thank you for your commitment for making our city such a wonderful and a safe place for me and my fellow Hindus. This celebration not only allows us to stand with pride just as Hindus, but also achieve a grateful member of this vibrant community. As a small token of appreciation, the Hindu community has provided you with small laddus. They're very wonderful sweet that we appreciate it, and then we often eat at various occasions, such as Diwali that just passed a few days ago. And as part of this city, I feel very heard and understood as being a Hindu here. So thank you once again for all the wonderful work you guys have been doing in helping us feel heard and understood in the society. Thank you. Dhanyavad.
Next speaker is Shri.
Honorable Mayor and City Council members of Rancho Cordova, Namaste. My name is Shri Vadlamuri, and I'm a proud resident of Rancho Cordova. I'm currently a student at Pleasant Grove High School, and I wanted to briefly share about the recent Seva Diwali food donation drive, which started on October 3rd, 2024. As we approach the winter and holiday season, the need to support those around us is greater than ever. Many in our community are facing food insecurity due to challenges such as food shortages and rising food and living prices. Seva Diwali is a collective effort to come together and address hunger by donating food to those in need. Diwali, the Festival of Lights, is a time for celebration, unity, and giving back to the community. In this spirit, the Seva Diwali food donation drive, coordinated by the Hindu Swayam Sevak Sangh, HSS, is a non-profit socio-cultural Hindu organization, has emerged as a meaningful way to serve those in need. Through this initiative, Hindu, Jain, Buddhist, and Sikh dharmic organizations, along with individuals and communities, come together to contribute to a common cause, supporting local food banks, pantries, shelters, and vulnerable populations across the nation. In Greater Sacramento, Yuba City, Chico, and other regions, including Rancho Cordova, many like-minded organizations have united through the Seva Diwali initiative, the course philosophies Seva Paramo Dharma, which translates to service to humanity is the highest religion, guides this noble endeavor. During the 4 weeks leading up to Diwali, we focused on collecting non-perishable foods to help address food insecurity. We have served the non-perishable food grains to more than 15 food banks, including Rancho Cordova Food Bank, making our total 8,000 pounds of food donated in the Greater Sacramento area. The significance of Diwali goes beyond the festival. It embodies the true spirit of Diwali, lighting up lives not with just lamps, but with compassion and service. While Diwali marks a time for celebration, it is also a moment to remember the less fortunate, especially those struggling to secure their daily meals. Through Seva Diwali, the Hindu community strives to extend the warmth and light of Diwali to all, ensuring no one goes hungry during the season of giving. We invite all the community members to join the food collection drive and help in serving the needy this festive season. We invite the City Council members to join the food donation events in early November, followed by the concluding ceremony. Dhanyavad and thank you.
Those are all the speaker cards that I have. I do want to acknowledge that we received 12 written emails from the following individuals: Michael Dack, Ada Selmick, Christina Sheriff, Sarah Williams, Haroon Rashid, Michelle Winslet James, Fazia Farouk, Samantha Stringer, Evan Martinez Jones, Joaquin Javier, Natalia Lara, and the Rancho Cordova ceasefire team. They did not list an individual name on that particular email, and signed it the Rancho Cordova ceasefire team. Those emails have been distributed to the city council. They've been placed on the city's website, and they are placed in the public comment folder in the back of the council chambers.
Thank you. We'll move on to agenda item 14, council reports, and we'll start with Councilmember Gatewood.
All right. I did not go to the League of Cities, so I got to open up the amazing SF Market. So, first of all, rule to the wise, do not tell a guy start the fireworks when you are next to the fireworks. He was so fired up, and I was next to him, all, light this thing. And he's like, got it. Council member says, light this thing. And I was right next to it, and the beads started shooting out the fireworks, and it was so loud. Woo, that was a mistake. But awesome new partner with the community. It's fun because it's all family run. And so all their family from LA, San Diego, Las Vegas, the West Sac family members all were there. And they were all telling us about how all the stores started. And his dad basically does huge shipping for Walmart, Costco, and all the major places out of Asia. And so this place was cool because now we're back to having like crab in tanks, which my wife loves. And then there's a boiling crab restaurant. We're going to have our first hot pot in Rancho Cordova. If you guys don't know what hot pot is, it's the meat and they cook it in the pot. So we no longer have to travel to Folsom to go get hot pot or boiling crab. And I swear, we are like 3 restaurants away. All I got to do is one for Dan Scogan, may he rest in peace, find a tailor shop. I got to find a place to have a baby. And those are the 2 things that he said that we had to have. And the third thing is now that we have, hot pot and we can now they're going to have duck on a hook. If you guys don't know what duck on a hook is, it is crispy duck that they kind of leave the head on and they kind of leave it on the hook. And it is delicious. And so all my Filipino Asian community members are all super excited. I've never seen a pack store. My wife's messed up because she's like, you got to go get a bag of rice. And I was like, I don't want to try to tackle all the people that are in line. There literally was, like 3,000 people waiting in line. Like they had to stop them from getting in there, and it was crazy. And so it is an amazing store. And the cool part is, it's not just that. They have every one of their food shops and stuff were waiting for the store to open so that they could open their shop so that they would have traffic in and out. My wife would have stayed and eaten at the restaurants if those had been open. So that's awesome. I was hoping I know we should end the meeting, of course, in honor of Donald Terry, because this is his last meeting. But dying. You're dead to me. But I was hoping we could end it in John Heidel. John Heidel was a friend of mine from El Dorado Hills.
I think we did that last time.
Oh, did you? Okay, well, good. I wasn't here. I was busy trying to lose elections. And fascinating,
We're
epic
successful
level.
at that.
I was so good. Why, people? Anyways, but the JPA board, we met. If you guys don't know this, it's the backside freeway of Rancho Cordova. We have been fighting so hard with the region about getting from a 2-lane road to a 4-lane road. And then someone died on the road today. And I'm like, see, told you. And it's the same place that Siri fell off on the road, but I couldn't get it. I did get $25 million with the help of our lobbyists for the road, but I wasn't able to get it to 4 lanes, so I'm going to keep trying. I got about another year on that board before Siri has to do it. Because
I'll take my story again.
You will, and you can be on there being like, I'm the president of this board, and I just got to get this road fixed because I almost died on it.
Yep.
But yeah, that was, we also had, did you guys talk about the state of the city last time? No. State of the city, it was very long, but it was so long, so long. I love you, David.
David's online.
I know, so long.
Hey, I am still on this meeting.
Hello? Hello, David? Hello, scientists. I mean,
I just told him that.
They just keep talking and talking. Anyways, so much stuff has happened this year, good things. And I really feel it's because Rancho Cordova is standing back up again and getting ready to fight for maybe a school district, maybe a brand new park district, just all these cool things. Donald helped to get the Donald and Siri helped to get the tax measure passed in Anatolia. In that area, we finally have our first board member on the Elk Grove School Board, which is going to be a game changer because now we have a voice over there, which I think Rancho Cordova, once again, is once we get annoyed enough, we stand up for ourselves. Possibly new school board members in Rancho Cordova. We were able to pass the R&S, which means we have like $500 million that can be spent on Rancho Cordova schools only, which is going to be a game changer for us. And we just need to decide as a community, do we need to stay in the Folsom Cordova School District, or is it time for the Rancho Cordova School District? I'm just amazed at how well the city is doing, and this has been a lot of battles, but I mean, it came to fruition. We had a bunch of ballot measures. A lot of them swung in the way of Rancho Cordova. And now we even have some representation on the San Juan School District School Board. So that's a new one where we've never had a voice on that one. We did also, last thing is the Council of Cross-Cultural had their best affairs. If you didn't know what that is, RAM used to have a beauty pageant. That's the RAM beauty pageant, was this while you guys were gone. And I got to tag before I ran back to doing election stuff. But it was still fun, but I am so tired. I starting to black out a little bit, but that's all I got. Thank you, Siri.
Thank you, but I thought the event, the Russian media event, was on the Friday after the elections.
I don't know what you're talking about. I'm still going.
Good for you.
Still going.
Council member? Yeah, it's the RAM event, right?
No, don't call it that.
Oh, you just
Listen,
said that.
I said it used to be. It's now the Council of Cross-Cultural Affairs.
Okay.
Yeah, the best.
No. Okay.
The old name is bad. It's bad juju.
Council member Budge.
Well, this has been a busy couple of weeks, although
Lord.
I was not busy in the same areas that Garrett was. However, first of all, I have to say that I got a really sweet thank you note from Sacramento Splash. It's actually very clever, and it's got a salamander in it, so I'll pass it around.
Oh.
David's State of the City speech, despite Garrett's comments, was extremely interesting. And it was so interesting that I took it to the monthly meeting of SIRS, Sons in Retirement, at the Elks Lodge the next day. And Maria helped me basically present the same information to them. And again, they were, mine was definitely a little shorter, but they were absolutely amazed at what all is going on in Rancho Cordova. The annual RAM meeting, for Council on Cross-Cultural Affairs, the event was really gorgeous. It always is. The food was superb this time. The food is always superb, but this time was particularly different because it was catered by a restaurant called Caravans, which is food from Uzbekistan. And as it turns out, Sergei Ivanikov, who is the person who generally runs this event, is also from Uzbekistan and had taken me up there to eat. And we were really amazed at their ability to, for a small family restaurant, their ability to handle the a large number of people who attend this event every year. SF Market opened to, as Garrett said, fireworks, lion dancers. It was an incredible celebration. It is not an exaggeration, and Diana is shaking her head in agreement. It is not an exaggeration to say that there are somewhere between 2,500 and 3,000 people who attended that event, and it went on for a good hour. And the legend was if we got in the door, we were going to get free rice. Well, I didn't get free rice, but I got free noodles, and my husband insisted on having noodles that night, and they were really great. So just as soon as the crowds die down just a little bit, then everybody's going to want to go over and take in the market. The luncheon, Community Council, Chamber of Commerce luncheon on Friday was the best attended that they've had in the history of their joint lunch. There were 150 people there, I think Shelley said. And we had a marvelous presentation from the new superintendent at Folsom Cordova Unified. And then finally, it was my pleasure to join the community council in going to the Mooses on Saturday night because a longtime community volunteer, Tracy Harris, earned a Pilgrim Degree of Honor at the Mooses. And I took a resolution honoring Tracy.
Was that an invitation to that event, or did you take her award?
No, it's an invitation. No, and that's a hymn. Tracy.
Oh, yeah.
Tracy has helped at every event that community council or the chambers ever put on. And if you were to walk in here, everyone in this room would know who he is because you've seen him at something or other. The significance of this event was monumental. When I got up and said that I was really honored and humbled to be there to present this certificate, there were Moose members from all over Northern California who came to honor Tracy. The Pilgrim Award is limited to only 3,000 people in the entire million members of the Moose fraternity. And in California, there are only 8. Tracy is one of 3 that have been presented in the Rancho Cordova Lodge. So this is not only an enormous honor for Tracy, but it's also an honor for the Rancho Cordova Moose Lodge. And that's my report.
Thank you, Councilmember.
Thank you. To share a quick story about Tracy, that's kind of funny that I didn't recognize it at first. The first time I was mayor, I think, Linda, you and I were judges in a rib contest out there. And I was standing out front of the Moose Lodge waiting to go eat ribs. And somebody walked up to Tracy, patted him on the back and said, "Hi, Mayor." And he felt so embarrassed because he's the mayor of the Moose Lodge, if anybody doesn't know. But he was standing next to the mayor, and he had to look me in the face and go, "Wait, let me explain. They don't think I'm you." Right? He got all flustered at one point. He was a great guy. Congratulations to him for that. I have had a lot of work travel along with other travel. So I'll keep my comments fairly brief and just talk about NLC. Again, congratulations, David, on your year of service at NLC. I pretty much expected you to be here tonight because I figured you were done, and it sounds like you're still doing NLC stuff and went to New Jersey for something. But congratulations on a great year, on the centennial year. The number of people just in standing next to David, the receiving line of people to come and say thank you to him in Tampa was very, very impressive. But I did get to a handful of workshops, and I will say that a lot of them were really great. One of them that I've shared with the city manager was around unique compensation. One of the big things that's been a theme, I guess, across the nation with HR professionals in cities has been young professionals coming out of college with lots of student loan debt and not choosing public service and not civil service because they need to take higher paying jobs to pay their student loans. And one of the unique things that a lot of them are looking at is there's a certain amount of time that you need to work at a city before you can start getting forgiveness on your student loans, and it's longer than some other industries and some other places that you go. So some cities are actually looking at assisting with that, also with with additional higher education and paying for those things. But there was a lot about how, especially in the last couple of years, with such a strong job market of people being able to go to other places to figure out how you keep people working for cities and counties and local governments. I thought that was really fascinating. I did attend another meeting on moving the needle on against NIMBYism and housing, priority-based budgeting, and then I think the only thing I wanted to share was I believe it was the president of SK Hynix was in town and was hosted by GSAC, and there were some tours and other things done, and then a luncheon that I believe the entire council attended that, right? Yeah, so we all attended that along with folks from GSAC and some other folks. But the movement, and I know there was a trip to Korea earlier this year, or late this fall. But the opportunities that we're seeing in a city of 80,000 people that has this kind of a business and job market and business center is really, the sky's the limit. And as I've spoken to other city council members, and obviously with David's service this year, when people saw my name tag, they wanted to ask a lot of questions about our city because they've heard of us or whatever. And when I start to talk that we're 80,000 people, but we have this many jobs and this kind of diversity of employers, and it's really impressive what our home court advantage is going forward, especially for the kind of work that our economic development team does. So that's it for me.
Thank you. I'll go next. So I did attend the State of the City address by Mayor Sander, and while it was long, it was that we had a lot of information to share, and the city is doing such great things that there was nothing that he could leave out in order to present everything that the city is doing. And I think he hit not everything, but a lot of it. So if he were to hit everything, it'd be a lot longer. So it was a good speech, very well attended, and I think we have a fantastic 2025 ahead of us. Mayor Sander and I also attended the Vish Korean Peace Festival here at the City Hall. It was a really nice festival where there were many performances from various cultures to be seen and heard, and to show our city is a diverse city and that we embrace everybody and that everybody feels at home in our city of Rancho Cordova. I also attended the NLC, which was the 100th year with David Sander being president. And I was walking with him, and he mentioned that, he must have taken 100, people must have taken 100 selfies with him during the course of that event, or more than 100. And, it's good that he's always camera friendly and, easy to spot in a crowd. So I think that must have helped. And it was really good to attend these kind of events where, you kind of meet elected officials from all over the country. I met with elected officials in cities as small as like 10,000 who had 8 council members for their city. And so, or like the big ones at 200,000, and what they were doing for their city. We heard about their housing challenges, how they were embracing innovation and governance, and what they were doing to tackle issues in their city. So these events are good for us as elected officials to learn what's happening, and also for city staff to kind of explore what they could do better for our city. So it's always better together. And with that, I will pass it on to the mayor for his report.
Thank you, Siri. Can you guys hear me in the room? I don't know.
Yeah, you sound better now. Yeah.
Okay. I'll just second what Siri said about the peace event at City Hall. I thought that was a really great event. I was honored to receive, Siri and I were honored to receive awards from them on behalf of the city. And I think that that and the opportunities mentioned earlier tonight by the couple of speakers who talked about our efforts at interfaith relationships is something pretty valuable in our community. And we don't probably talk about that as much as we should, but I think this would be a good time for our interfaith council actually to be stood back up, perhaps with some new leadership or some additional leadership from the community. I've heard from several people over the past few months that that's something of interest to them. And obviously that's a Cordova Community Council activity, assisted and supported by the city, not a direct city activity. But I think that's the time has probably come for that. I attended a lot, obviously, of events at the National League of Cities this past week. I'm not quite done with those. That meeting is over, but I have a speaking engagement here. And I also have one in Alaska in the beginning of December, believe it or not. And then another meeting I need to attend in Florida on behalf of the National League of Cities. So my role will now transition sort of at the end of this year to past president. And as long as I'm in elective office, I will remain a past president of NLC. the good news is not as many talks and travel as before. The other good news, I suppose, is that the city will not have to pay for my my registrations or my hotel stays or anything like that having to do with NLC meetings. So a little bit of budgetary relief for the city there, for one of us anyway. And it has been an incredible year, you know, to serve as your mayor, but also as president of the National League of Cities. I'm just sort of overwhelmed by it all. I think I need a few days to like decompress after all the efforts that have gone into this. And the crazy thing is, of course, things are just getting really really engaged on the NLC front. There's a new presidential administration coming in. The National League of Cities has to do a lot of work to try to be sure that cities are well represented in that administration. So I will have significant duties there, networking and searching people out. So that's sort of my holiday plan for this year, the holiday season. And I don't know if any of my colleagues are interested, but I think I will be asked to go back as a guest at the inauguration, because that's something typically NLC presidents do. All right. I was going to give one other report, but you guys all talked about State of the City, so I think I will just leave it at that. Thank you for attending the State of the City. Thank you, staff, for setting that up. I really appreciate the support, particularly Maria, at the National League of Cities meeting. That was really good. Oh, I did speak. I did a TEDx talk, and a TED Talk rather, and that is going to be released reasonably soon, and I would urge you to see it. It was, you know, try to keep a topic within 8 minutes. I talked about partnerships. I specifically sort of gave some advice on how to form partnerships, how to think about partnerships, and then I gave advice about, my example was the arts and what happened with us in the arts. We said no to the Arts Council, and now next thing you know, Netflix is in town filming, and we've got, 15 art organizations working in town or more. So we should look for that at some point. And I hope some of you guys got to be extras or something in that Netflix production that was happening last week. And I hope the show gets picked up. That would be awesome. With that, I'll hand it back over to Siri.
Thank you. And I will pass it on to the city manager's report.
Thank you, Vice Mayor. I won't I was at a lot of those other events and different things, and our team was, and really I'll just kind of highlight the importance, and I think as the Vice Mayor mentioned, the kind of better together or the partnership between the council and the city staff team to be at these different events and to support the different efforts that are going forward, whether it's on the national scale of kind of the NLC and the different learnings and the things and the activities that the team can get there, or at the different community events and supporting the different efforts there. And so really just want to highlight the importance of being engaged and involved in the thought leadership in the different scales and the different places, but also spending time at the different community events. And I will say I thought the State of the City could have gone longer because, I'm just excited about all the different things that we're doing. So thank you for that, Mayor. So that's it for me.
Thank you. And we will move on to consent calendar items. Consent calendar items consist of matters deemed routine and non-controversial by staff. And unless a member of the council wishes to pull an item for individual consideration, all items will be approved by one motion. Are there any items council wishes to pull from the consent calendar?
Is there any comment?
Public comment.
We have one public comment from James Garcia.
Are there any public comments, City Clerk?
So which one?
16.7.
I'll move the balance of the calendar and keep, what did you say?
16.7.
We'll waive that one to take the comment.
Second.
Roll call. Councilmember Terry?
Aye.
Councilmember Budge?
Yes.
Councilmember Gatewood?
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pulapati?
Yes.
Mayor Sander?
Aye.
Thank you. And then we'll call James Garcia up.
Did you also get Helen's card? Because she had one.
I don't have, oh yes, I do.
You should pass it, or this one?
Yes, I have.
For this
No, I
one.
have two speaker cards.
Okay,
for this
just double check. Okay, well, James Garcia, resident Stone Creek. I sent a letter off. Again, I'm really opposed to us using County of Riverside's enterprise agreement as opposed to having our own. Since we already have an enterprise agreement It has lesser license values, but we can make a new agreement with them. We would have more direct control versus having to rely on a third party such as Riverside County to get our tech support. Initiating support cases on behalf of us is a way to slow us down. A lot of IT work is done after hours at night. We wouldn't be able to always call on Riverside County to say, hey, be available in case we run into a snag with Microsoft so you can open a support case with us. So that's a big issue I have seeing it. Also, the fact that we can do true-ups anytime we want. They do an annual one. I've actually managed a $1 million a year enterprise agreement. This is only $288,000 a year. So again, it's smaller, it's easier to manage. You get to have anything you want. There's a lot of other functionalities with it. Benefits for our city staff. They get to use the workplace from home discount where they can purchase Microsoft software at a discount. We'd be losing that. We're also losing Microsoft credits. When you have an enterprise agreement, you get to have credits that can be used for training, implementation purposes to help initiate with our projects that we want to have happen. Riverside County's not going to give us that. They're going to use them. They're not going to give that. That's not in the contract that we have stated. So that's just free money going away that we are losing to them. So again, better controls. We also can do a nice generative AI program since we are looking at using Microsoft Copilot. It's a dangerous topic. We need to be able to have control of it. We also want to be able to have our external sharing data set up properly with all of our partners instead of having it managed by Riverside County being the tenant owner. Let's see, what else was there? Sorry, I wrote a lot of it in there, just don't have it all down. So, better security. Again, we should do it. We also had a technology presentation a few months ago with our roadmap of what we wanted to do. This should have been thought of back then instead of being a last-minute ditch, since this is trying to be set up for January 1 of next year. We should have thought about it. We should have implemented our own agreement in time. I understand government work because I work for it, and it does take time to process, but we still have time. So I just feel it was a lack of forethought. Thank you.
Helen Whalen-Bashaw.
Greetings, I'm Helen Whalen-Bashaw from the Tiffany area. I agree with everything that James said. When I saw this up there, I thought to myself, we're an established community that's been around for 20 years to saddle on with the Riverside areas looking like we're a new company that needs a step up. There's too many things that are negative about being under somebody else's umbrella. My question is, where's the planning? Why did this thing go to the point that we have to go under another company? It just doesn't make any sense. It goes with the fact that we've been around 20 years. There's got to be somebody in the city that's in charge of making sure all of our contracts that are up for renewal, we know about ahead of time so we can do our homework. I think the biggest mistake we're going to make is if you agree to this proposal. James is an expert in this area. He's pointing out a lot of good points, and I think the city needs to rethink and not get into a contract that doesn't give us the freedom to be able to have 24/7 contact directly with the source and not be a third party to it. So I think you need to table this thing, bite the bullet, and do what you have to do, but we should have direct contact with Microsoft. Thank you.
Can I ask a question? Is there somebody who can explain what this thing really is?
Yeah, I
What's
believe.
Riverside County got to do with it?
Well, Rita
The
is coming.
County of Riverside Agreement.
Well, Rita's coming forward. I also just wanted to acknowledge that James Garcia also submitted a written
Right.
public comment via email.
Good evening.
My name is Rita Goss, and I'm the Chief Technology and Innovation Officer for the City of Rancho Cordova. So the Riverside contract is actually the enterprise agreement for that all cities and other special districts are using. We currently use a government license, which is a best practice recommendation by the Department of Homeland Security, CISA, which is the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Agency. They recommend that all cities and special district use the government cloud. In order to purchase a Microsoft government cloud license, you cannot do it on your own, like buy it on your own. You have to use a third-party vendor or a reseller to buy it. And there's only two vendors right now that are, well, no, two contracts that's available. Actually, there's three. One is to the Riverside, and then the other one is to the Department of Technology, and then the Los Angeles contract. We can't use the Los Angeles contract because it's very specific to LA. The other contract is with Department of Technology, which is, we looked at the costs and the pros and cons between the two contracts. And
when you say Department of Technology, you mean the California Department of Technology?
Yeah, California Department, who has an EA agreement with Microsoft. So that's why we use the Riverside. Now, I agree that having a direct access to Microsoft and the benefits that does that is all available to the Riverside contract. So we are flexible. We don't interact with Riverside. We don't call them. We are just using their contract to get a guaranteed pricing, which is the best value for all the licenses. All cities are using this, and they have been.
So we can't do what he's even suggesting.
Because we have a
We have three
government.
access points to get into it, and one of them is specific to LA County.
Yeah, it's Microsoft still is.
You know.
Microsoft is being really stingy right now with letting out this type of license. And so they've only given out 3 as of right now. So if we want an E5 license, then we have to go through a reseller, which is, and they're the easiest one. And just so we know, and I didn't get a chance, the G5 license, you can still call Microsoft directly, James, just so we made sure that this contract does allow us to go over, and I should have called you about this, but it does allow us to go directly to Microsoft and not have to go through a third party to get access. They're just the only ones reselling the license and giving us access to the portal.
Thank you for the answers.
That's what I got out of the staff report.
Yeah. So basically, we have our own. We administer our own licenses. If we need more, we go to our portal. We don't interact with Riverside County. We don't even talk to them. We're just using their contract as a means of a vehicle so we can get good pricing. And then we're using G5 license, which is the government, and they don't allow you to just purchase the licenses in the website.
And it's got you got this Microsoft portal, right? And you click to add licenses, and then they just show up in the portal, and you apply them to people. But you still have your own Microsoft account.
Yeah.
But you can buy the G5 licenses from someone else. Does
And,
that make
and
sense?
I will say just generally sometimes in the IT world and other infrastructure world, you will sometimes call it piggyback off other contracts for the right pricing and the right deals. And this is a pretty standard thing that communities do to get access to different pricing and different options. And so it is something that we do have direct access to Microsoft.
I think we've talked this to death.
No, I can talk more about IT.
The item. Move the item, please.
I like talking about IT.
Second.
Thank you.
James, does that answer your question? Okay.
Call the question, please.
Councilmember Terry?
Aye.
Councilmember Budge?
Yes.
Councilmember Gatewood?
Yep.
Vice Mayor Pulapati?
Yes.
Mayor Sander?
Aye.
Thank you. We will now, given that we consent public hearing items, we have none. Public hearing items, we have none. We're going to move on to item 19, regular calendar items. And I'll ask the clerk to read the subject.
Measure R and Measure H, Community Enhancement and Investment Fund Citizen Oversight Board appointments. Randy Kay.
Yes.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I am Randy K. Stevens, your analyst with the Community Enhancement Fund. My colleague Lindsay Samples is here in the room, our community boardroom, engaging with some of our applicants. And the reason we are here tonight is to ask for your help in making appointments to our Oversight Board, which is a requirement of Measure R. And also Measure H per resolution. All right, while we're working on the clicker, I'll just continue to share that tonight we have two applicants at least in the room, and so I want to make sure that we address them and allow them for public comment. And I wanted to explain that this evening we anticipate that the council will make 2 4-year term board member appointments and then 2 single-year appointments. Thank you. All right, and in 2024, 3 members serving 4-year terms completed their service. And additionally, another member of our current board has announced she's moving out of the area. And that means that we have approximately 4 members vacating the Oversight Board. In September, the council passed a resolution changing the total composition from 9 Oversight Board members to 7. 2 of those seats are allocated for a student representative from Folsom Lake College and 1 from a rotation by our 3 public school districts. This means that there are 5 seats with 4-year terms and 2 seats with 1-year terms. The Oversight Board has 3 members serving through 2026. So that means that we have 2 seats open for appointment by the council this evening for the adult applications and 2 1-year terms for the students. All right, as part of our review of the applications, staff did confirm that all of the adult applicants were at least 18 years of age. We confirmed their residency here in Rancho Cordova, and we also confirmed that they are registered to vote with Sacramento County's Register of Voters. Since the board has decreased in total composition from 7 to 5 seats, the council will be selecting 2 new Oversight Board members. Here's where I'm going to do some math. Of the 7 applications received, 6 were actually eligible. In the last week, 2 of those applications were withdrawn. That leaves 4 applications for consideration. In order of receipt, this includes applicants Hua Vang, Jason Williams, Zenaida Zamora, and Christina Pahur. I'm asking that the council select 2 from this pool of candidates. I'd also like to acknowledge that this evening, Mr. Williams is here in the audience with us and has submitted a public comment card.
Randy, can I ask a quick question about folks that were considered not eligible? Were any of them because they weren't registered to vote?
I called and spoke with that particular applicant. She was not deemed eligible for a number of reasons. One, she had selected that she had received Measure H funding, and when I called her on the phone, she admitted she lived in Chicago, Illinois.
Okay. But so nobody was disqualified because they weren't eligible to vote or they weren't registered to vote.
All other applicants were verified that they live here in the city, were over 18, and are registered voters, and that's part of our requirements for service.
No, I understand. I want to be very particular about that question, though, because we specifically took that requirement off of the requirements to be on the Planning Commission, and we probably need to remove it from this one, too. So we allow residents that may not be eligible to vote to be on the Planning Commission. We shouldn't be doing it to this one, too. So I want to verify. There's somebody that was a resident, meets all other eligibilities, but is not registered to vote or isn't eligible to vote, could still be on here. And we did that specifically at the request of somebody who ended up becoming the chair of the Planning Commission. So I actually just told the city manager, for these 4-year appointments, I'm not going to vote on these because I don't think I should be voting for something that's going to be in place for another 4 years when this is my last council meeting. But in general, I would say we do need to revisit, or that y'all need to revisit this someday. And probably, if you're keeping it in line with the Planning Commission requirements, is remove the voter registration requirement.
So why don't we park that for now?
Yeah, no, I'm not. It didn't disqualify anybody this time. I just wanted to make sure, because if it did, we should have a broader conversation, because we consciously did not include that for the Planning Commission.
Thank you for that feedback, and we will address this. Thank you. At this time, I'd like to ask the council to consider the adult applicants, and then we will move forward with our student applications. Can we do public comment for the adult applicants in the room, please?
Public comment cards that I have are from Isabella Tang. Isabella, if you'd like to come forward. And following Isabella will be Jason Williams.
Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Isabella Tang, and I am here to submit my candidacy for the Measure R and Measure H student representative position. I am currently a sophomore.
Sorry, really quick question.
Thought we were doing adult.
Yes, I would like to do adults first if that's possible, but I also want to respect that our student needs to probably go home and do homework. So I'm
Go. Fair point. So I just wanted to make sure you were the adult.
Sorry, it doesn't say if they're a student or an adult on their speaker card.
We give her back her 3 minutes because we interrupted her. Go ahead.
Okay, should I start from the beginning? Yep. Okay. Good evening, Mayor and City Council. My name is Isabella Tang, and I am here to submit my candidacy for the Measure R and Measure H student representative position. I am currently a sophomore at Pleasant Grove High and live in District 5 of Rancho Cordova. If appointed to this position, I plan on using my experience in different schools in Rancho Cordova and in youth outreach to better serve this community. First of all, I went to Sunrise Elementary. Then following the pandemic, I was homeschooled at South Sutter Charter School, and then went to St. John Vianney, a private school in Rancho Cordova. Currently, I am a student in Pleasant Grove High School, where I am vice president of mock trial and a member of the Biomedical Academy. My background in different educational facilities demonstrates my ability to connect and represent students from various walks of life. My experience in youth outreach does not only include Rancho Cordova, but the greater Sacramento community. I promoted nonprofit organizations such as the Food Locker, Whisker Warriors, and formerly Martha's Charity to my school via news broadcasts. In Sacramento, I am a reoccurring educational volunteer at the Sacramento Zoo with more than 100 community service hours. I help children to learn about biodiversity and environment conservation. Specifically, I emphasize the importance of water conservation and recycling programs in our daily lives. Within Elk Grove, I am an active member of the Student Equity Council at Pleasant Grove, where we frequently hold meetings with the greater student population to help address equity issues, such as harassment based on race, ethnicity, disability, gender, sexual orientation, and religion. My experiences in different schools in Rancho Cordova gives me a unique perspective on the education system in our city, as well as my extensive time in youth outreach also demonstrates my dedication to my community. By granting me this opportunity, I hope to support this community by gaining a better knowledge of the Measure R and Measure H taxes and sharing this knowledge. If given this position, I will be an asset to our city, to our home, to our Rancho Cordova. Thank you.
Next speaker is Jason Williams.
Good job, Isabella. It's good to see you again.
Quick question, Stacy, can we see if there are any other student comments?
Those are all the speaker cards I have.
Okay.
Hello, I am Jason Williams. I am vastly underprepared compared to her. I live here in Rancho. I have my daughter goes to Cordova High, plays sports as in band and all that. I operate a business here in Rancho Cordova as well. I was researching how to get more involved with the city and literally stumbled across the application for it. I had already been looking into the enhancement fund and investment fund, finding it's responsible for all of the fun events that happen out here pretty much. Mm-hmm. I thought it would be a great way to kind of help out with the city and get involved a little bit further and sort of put some of my varied experience in multiple industries, multiple levels of quality assurance, all that stuff to good use. So.
And you own Burning Barrel, right?
I was going to say,
I do not own. I work there. I'm the head brewer there.
Okay. The most important thing is
Yes.
that you,
No, I do
Burning
not-
Barrel. If you haven't had some Burning Barrel today, go do that. This supports his job. Burning Barrel.
That's a good recommendation. Thank you. That's all I have, though. Thank you.
Can I ask what it was like playing for the Kings?
You know, I never heard that joke until I moved here. But I sure wish I had
Why
his,
would you until you
I
moved
know,
here?
right? I sure wish I had his financial backing on that. But hey, that would be great.
I think he spent a lot of that.
You might have oversight to a lot of finance.
Right.
Thank you.
Okay. Thank you.
So, Randy Kay, if I would understand, we have to select today?
The request from staff is for council to select our 2 new adult members and to select the 2 youth who would be serving, representing both Folsom Lake College for one position and then our student position that rotates among our 3 school districts. And this year it's Elk Grove Unified School District. I spoke with all of the applicants and I interviewed and spoke with the student applicants to make sure they knew about the opportunity to come to speak at council if they chose to do so. We had one who was able to attend, the others were not able to attend, and all were notified that they could also make public comment by email. And I explained the role and the opportunity to them, as well as how the meeting process works. I'm asking if the council can select the oversight board members this evening so that I can schedule and coordinate our next meeting. I do not currently have the quorum that it takes to have that meeting.
Madam Mayor, I think the first, like I said, I'm going to recuse or abstain on the adult appointments. I don't think a guy who's an hour or so probably away from not having another meeting should be voting on stuff for 4 years. If we could take up the student ones first, I'd be happy to make a motion on those.
Colleagues' comments. Also, Randy Kay, we don't have the list of names. I know it's in the package, but we don't have it. Can you flash it up or?
Yes, I can share the names. It's the applications are included as part of the agenda packet. If you'd like the student names, I can go ahead and read those. The student names are.
Can you flash it up if you have them?
I will ask for help from our city clerk's team. Thank you. And while they're bringing that up online, I'll share that the applicants for the student positions included Raj Thakar for Folsom Lake College, and he is an alumni of the Folsom Lake College program, College Promise recipient and alumni, and he went on to UC Davis and has served already for 1 year in that capacity and would asked to continue to service.
Is he the person that was student body president? Was that him?
At Folsom.
Folsom Lake College? That was him, right? Okay, yeah.
His application is included in your packet, and
But
he
he went to Cordova High.
Yes, he
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And he's already on now. So it's
He
a
is,
reappointment?
but it's a 1-year term, and so he has to apply again to serve. And he was the only applicant, and it was open for others to apply for as well.
So you're looking for 2 students?
Yes, one from Elk Grove Unified School District and one from Folsom Lake College.
And he's eligible from Folsom Lake College because he's an alumni of the Promise program.
Yes.
Okay, so there's the easy one. So I will move to appoint him, and as our
Ms. Kang?
as our high school student, yeah, I'll appoint Isabella. Yeah, yeah. So those are
Yeah.
So let's do
And
the 2 students. I think that's
I'm
easy.
very happy to second
Yeah.
it.
And Raj, I've spoken to on the phone a bunch of times. Yeah, he's phenomenal. Great.
Councilmember Budge.
Yes.
Councilmember Terry.
Aye.
Councilmember Gatewood.
Yes.
Microphone.
Hello, microphone. Yes.
Thank you. Vice Mayor Pulapati.
Yes.
Mayor Sander.
Aye.
Enjoy your meetings.
You will love these. Love them. Yeah.
You are now free to leave.
Yeah, go do homework.
Good grades.
Congratulations.
Expect straight A's in this community. You understand.
You heard all the things. You don't think you should probably have straight A's?
Okay, so, all right, so since Donald is not going to vote on this, I have to say, having read everybody's resumes, the 2 people that I had, that I would have nominated as the adults would have been Christina Pahur and Hua Vang. And as I said, it was simply because I read their resumes. So, but I don't want to be rude to Jason and the fact that he chose to come and sit through all of this. So, so I'm not.
So we're going to vote for Jason. It's all about showing up in this community, and you showed up. So
I'm with Mr. Gatewood on that one.
Yeah, and then what? And then did you want my, or who did you want?
Oh, goodness.
Real quick, because that
No,
no one
there
can
was-
read that. That's
It's
ridiculous.
Oops. No, that's way too small. Sorry.
You wanna do
I think it might be helpful if
do the
Randy
Huawei.
K, if you want to kind of list the names of the folks who are up, and then the council can capture those.
I would be
and then-
happy to.
Best resume. You guys look at her resume?
So, in order of receipt, the applicants were Hua Vang, Jason Williams,
Damn.
Zenaida Zamora, and Christina Pahur.
Okay, so one of the things that distinguished any of them, and I'm, again, Jason, I'm sorry you're sitting here, okay. But both Christina and Hua Vang had both lived here 11 years, whereas both Zenaida Zamora and Jason Williams had lived here only 4 years. And so it seemed to me that having somebody who had experienced the Community Enhancement Fund for a little bit longer period of time might be a good idea. But that's really what led me to make those two choices. So.
Okay,
I feel you.
Councilmember,
So I'd like to make a motion that we put Jason Williams, because he showed up, and Rancho always shows up, and Hua Vang. I think I nailed her name. Did I get it? Was it close? Hua Vang?
Yes.
Hua Vang? Oh, wow, I nailed it on the second time.
I second Ms. Wang and Jason.
Yeah.
Okay, I second that motion.
Councilmember Gatewood,
Yes.
Councilmember Budge,
Yes.
Councilmember Terry,
Abstain?
Vice Mayor Pulapati,
Yes.
Mayor Sander.
Aye.
Now, when I come to have beer, listen, just, delicious. I'm just saying.
Speaking of, just aside from that, we're always looking for innovative ideas for Rancho Cordova. So if you have anything with respect to a Rancho Cordova brew, please let us know. We have Visit Rancho Cordova that will promote that. That will promote that. And yeah, no cho. We're not the cho.
But a Cho beer?
Thank you, and
See what you
congratulations.
did? You brought me up. Cho beer. Just don't listen to her.
Thank you and congratulations. We will move over to the next agenda item, and I will ask the city clerk to announce the subject.
19.2 is a resolution approving the 3-year Economic Development Strategic Plan. And we have Amanda Norton.
Good evening, members of the council and Mayor, who is with us virtually this evening. My name is Amanda Norton. I'm the Economic Development Director here for the city of Rancho Cordova. And how we'll frame this up today is I'll start with some opening remarks, then I'll turn it over to our consultants to cover the bulk of the plan. Also, if anyone would like a copy of the presentation, it is available on the back counter this evening. For a little structure, the Economic Development Strategic Plan is designed to enhance the economic prosperity and promote growth and attract businesses and ensure a vibrant and sustainable local economy. Developing the strategic plan was a comprehensive year-long process that aimed at establishing a clear vision for Rancho Cordova's economic development efforts for the next 3 years. Some milestones that we covered throughout this: we began this agreement with TIP Strategies, who is here this evening to assist us with the plan. We then gathered a steering committee comprised of 11 members representing various stakeholders, both internally from various city departments as well as externally, and that will be covered a little bit more in depth in the presentation. And then in April, we did an initial interview with all the council members to absorb any information prior to beginning our data collection. Then in June, we did come before council to do an initial update and incorporated all the council's feedback and comments into the ongoing data and analysis and strategic development. And then just here in September, we recently presented to City Council for some additional review, and any additional input from that meeting was also put into this plan. Throughout this process, we've had various stakeholder engagement to ensure not only inclusivity, but comprehensive feedback. And TIP will cover more of that more in depth here. But just for today's presentation, we will be presenting the final draft of the Economic Development Strategic Plan, which reflects a collaborative vision that we've developed through diverse stakeholder input. The plan integrates actionable strategies to foster sustainable growth, build an inclusive economy that meets both current and the future needs of the city's residents. If approved, the next step will be developing an implementation plan that will activate the strategies of the plan, and will incorporate, of course, any feedback that we do hear from this evening. And on that, I would like to turn the presentation over to our strategic partners, TIP Strategies, and both Jeff, Jen, and Veronica are here this evening.
So let me just understand, are you looking for feedback today or more just a head, like it's good?
Both. So ideally, we would love your feedback, and if any, that we would have to incorporate prior to approval. But what that would look like, if there was anything we needed to add in, we would hope to be able to incorporate that feedback as part of the approval process for this evening.
Okay.
Okay. Well, thank you, Amanda. Well, Mayor, Vice Mayor, council members, it's good to see you all again. My name's Jeff Marcel. I am joined by Jen Todd Goins, who's a senior consultant with our team, as well as Victoria Wilson, who's a consultant with our team. And the three of us are so excited to have an opportunity to be with you this evening to share with you the Rancho Cordova Economic Development Strategic Plan for your consideration. Tonight is the culmination of an enormous amount of work by a lot of folks in the community and your consulting team as well. Let me share with you what we'd like to cover tonight. First, we'll give you just a brief project overview so you have a sense about the work that's taken place over the last 8 months. And then we'll share and review the plan framework and then talk to you about next steps. So first, just a quick project overview. Amanda referenced our steering committee, and these are the steering committee members that have participated as a part of this project. And I have to tell you, they have been absolutely fantastic to work with. They are passionate about this city and have been dedicated to this strategic planning effort, and I want to make sure to thank them and recognize them. They've been outstanding. And then I also want to make sure that we recognize Amanda and Lydia and Ashley and Laura, all on the economic development team here at the city, who have just done a remarkable job as well. We've had the good fortune to work with them on a consistent basis over the last 8 months. So I want to thank them for everything that they've contributed. So let me share the project goal that we have underway. This has always been about putting together an action-oriented, metric-driven 3-year economic development plan for the city. This has been the planned schedule. And as I said earlier, it's been an 8-month-long strategic planning process. We started with the discovery phase in the very beginning of the project. That's where we compiled an enormous amount of statistical information, economic and demographic data, industry data, real estate data, but we also combined that with stakeholder engagement, qualitative information, speaking and listening and learning from leaders all across the city, and learning from all of you. And then we combined all of that information, and that led us to the opportunity phase. And this is where we started to look at strategies and actions that would address the challenges and opportunities that we identified in the earlier phase. That then led us to the implementation phase, and that's where we began to write and draft the document itself and work in conjunction with the steering committee as well as the staff here at the city in developing the plan and prioritizing the plan, and that's why we have arrived where we are today. And I did want to just underscore once again the importance of stakeholder engagement throughout this entire process. As I've referenced, the steering committee that we've worked with, met with many times, 11 members of that steering committee. We also held a series of roundtable meetings on a whole host of different topics, bringing together experts to share their insight and their wisdom about these various different areas. And then we did a whole host of one-on-one interviews we did with leaders across the city, including one-on-one interviews with each one of you. And then we did 3 large town halls in the community to make sure that we shared the strategic framework with the citizens at large and the residents at large to get their reaction and their impressions about the document and the plan itself. And then, of course, we have been in the community several times. We've been in every corner of the city, making sure that we understand exactly what's happening in the city's economy as well. So that's a little bit about the overview of the planning work that's taken place over the last 8 months. Let me turn it over to Victoria to share a little bit more about the framework that we've put together.
This is the plan framework that the strategies and actions in the plan are based on. As you see there, the vision statement is to facilitate innovative approaches to business development, real estate investment, and job growth, creating a regional destination for economic opportunity. Beneath that, that is supported by 4 guiding principles. And below that, you see the 3 main goal areas: business development, placemaking and real estate, and workforce partnerships. Before I move on here, I want to make a note on why this framework is important. And it's that this plan is intended to be an evergreen plan. So as circumstances change, as you start implementing these strategies and new opportunities arise, the strategies are going to change. And this is your guiding post and your compass going forward. So these are the 4 target industries some of these strategies will be referencing. We have advanced manufacturing and technology, fintech, life sciences, and healthcare. Each of these is based on existing strengths in the communities or industries that exist here. They show positive growth trends, and they also show potential for high-quality employment and well-paid jobs. So goal 1 is business development. The goal here is to promote a vibrant economy by targeting business attraction efforts, fostering business creation, and supporting existing employers' expansion and growth. And I'll get into the strategies a bit more in the next few slides. The first strategy we have here is to build a business retention and expansion program. This isn't the most interesting sounding strategy, but we find that these programs can be extremely effective at supporting your existing employers and continuing employment growth in the community. So as part of this strategy, some of the things that we're recommending are that you engage with businesses, track the information that you gather from that engagement, and then identify businesses that are looking to expand in the community that perhaps have workforce challenges they're facing, or opportunities to identify supply chain opportunities in the community. Next, we have business attraction in those 4 target industries that I just showed you earlier. And the strategies here are around, in part, marketing Rancho Cordova as a destination for these industries, also growing your knowledge internally of these industries, and that involves staying up to date on industry trends, going to conferences, and gathering data. And then there's a coordination element to this also. You'll need to coordinate with SMUD on potential opportunities. You'll coordinate with the region on international attraction efforts. And lastly, there's an incentive component to this. And we're proposing here that you look into future forward criteria that focus on growing your technology, R&D capabilities within the city. So if you're attracting all these businesses and you are expanding existing businesses, you're going to have the shovel-ready sites and commercial product for them. So this strategy, we go into a little more depth in goal 2 for this one, but part of it is implementing a real estate tracking solution to understand what your inventory is, aligning efforts to revitalize a business park, and we're going to talk about more about that in goal 2. And then there's, again, a coordination element here, coordinating with city and utility infrastructure investments, but also coordinating with commercial brokers and site selectors to understand what's going on that side. Small businesses are an essential part of a dynamic and vibrant economy. They often own a lot of your retail shops and your restaurants. So we're proposing here that you support them by collaborating with other organizations in the community to develop trainings, and also make sure that the information and resources that those businesses need to start up and grow are easy to find. Another recommendation here is to establish a financial assistance program for micro businesses. Something that came up a lot during our stakeholder engagement was that perhaps there was a disconnect between how people perceive Rancho Cordova, especially outside of the city, and what Rancho Cordova actually has to offer. So this recommendation is all about making sure that all the great work that you do at the city, all the successes you've had so far and will continue to have, are clearly messaged. You are promoting them in a newsletter, for example. You are going to local community events and getting that message out there, but also collaborating regionally to ensure that Rancho Cordova's message is aligned with your regional partners. And lastly here, along the lines of growing your technology and R&D capabilities within the city, there's going to be growing entrepreneurial opportunities. So the first step here, it's a very nascent ecosystem, so it's just to map what exists in the city, what exists in the region, and where the gaps are, the opportunities for growth are there. Next, we recommend that you support and promote networks for early stage companies and start identifying startups within target sectors that can relocate to Sacramento region to grow here. And with that, I want to move on to goal 2.
Great, thanks, Victoria. For goal number 2, the idea here is really to focus on supporting high-quality mixed-use real estate development. It also includes infill and redevelopment that creates an attractive place for businesses, for residents, and for visitors. Our first strategy here looks at creating an integrated data management system that tracks information on available properties. This is something that Victoria referenced earlier. We think that this information would be very useful for staff when they're working with businesses and site selectors who are either looking to expand or to locate to Rancho Cordova. And this information should also be overlapped with the business retention and expansion work that staff is doing. So we have an understanding of what's happening before it's officially on the market in terms of, is a business looking to relocate? Is a property potentially going to sell, but it's not yet officially in any real estate databases? We would propose also overlapping this with some of your existing systems, such as GIS, like getting an understanding of infrastructure and zoning, and making sure that this database is, of course, kept up to date. Our second item here is exploring opportunities for future development that identify priority nodes and corridors in coordination with the general plan update. And what we're really trying to do with this strategy is elevating the economic development needs in terms of development, looking at the business community, where there are opportunities, gaining an understanding of current conditions, and then also working with both the community and the business community to identify what some of the potential areas of opportunity are, and then any barriers that are preventing that opportunity from being realized. We understand that this effort, of course, requires a lot of coordination across city departments, utility providers, et cetera. But we believe that the Economic Development Department is a great convener to help move this item forward. For the third recommendation, we mentioned reimagining the business park. We took a light hand on this recommendation because we understand that there may be a separate process going forward. But we do think the major goal is transforming those vacancies with revenue-generating developments. This transformation would be based not only in data about existing conditions, looking at what is the vacancy rate now, who owns the different buildings, what might a visioning process generate in terms of ideas, and then leveraging both the data and the input to create that actual plan for reinvigorating the business park. Our fourth recommendation is to increase the temporary activation of underutilized spaces, creating places for the community to gather. And again, we're taking kind of that economic business perspective here, working with departments such as planning and permitting, getting an understanding of, what's working well for business for temporary events now, where are there opportunities to create new ones in the future. These potential locations could be anything from park space to underutilized buildings, potentially strip mall areas that have a hard time getting full vacancy in order to highlight areas in which you want to activate over time. This could also be accomplished through pilot programs. There's not a need to create a permanent activation program, but more of launching pilots in areas where you see potential benefit. Fifth is identifying the infrastructure needed to connect residents with amenities and job opportunities. Here we propose working with other departments such as planning and public works to get an understanding of their current plans related to pedestrian, bike, and trail infrastructure, kind of connect that with the concerns of businesses and where you see potential gaps in the system, where our employers saying if we had this connection or that, it would make a difference for my workers in getting to work or my ability to reach new customers. And these sorts of questions could also be incorporated into the business retention and expansion visits, making sure that staff are able to get a really robust idea of the business community's needs when they go and speak to them. Sixth would be continuing to examine opportunities to revise, to clarify, and create efficiencies in the zoning and permitting process to encourage desired development. Here we see economic development as a strong convener, able to bring together business owners and developers who regularly engage in development and permitting processes to get an understanding of what is working well, where there may be opportunities to create efficiencies going forward. And it's also allowing those business owners and developers to share ideas and troubleshoot on their own in ways that can create new solutions in the community. Our third goal area focuses on workforce partnerships. And here we're proposing ways to grow the local workforce through partnerships that enhance the pipeline of talent for employers and also connect workers to training opportunities. Our first item here is encouraging you to support the Chamber-led Talent Pipeline Management Program. As that program moves forward, we would also encourage you to consider expanding to additional target industries. Second would be leveraging that talent pipeline management program to establish regional industry partnerships. These partnerships, should there be interest from the business community, can help do a couple of different things. One, foster relationship building between major employers and educational providers. It also creates effective workforce development programs, helps to create efficiencies, identifying gaps in the services being provided, and helps to address over the long-term talent pipeline challenges. Should interest in establishing a regional industry partnership emerge, we would also encourage you to speak to some of the existing regional partnerships, get an idea of where they have found success, where they may have overcome challenges in the past, and using that to help drive some of the long-term outcomes. Our third item here is supporting the expansion of career and technical education access and exposure to job opportunities with local employers for high school students. Here again, we see the Economic Development Group as a unique convener and ability to support these kind of efforts in terms of bringing together folks who are in business, who are in education, who are workforce development service providers, nonprofits, and helping to align some of those educational offerings with employer needs. We would also suggest connecting representatives from the different educational groups and organizations that are here and local employers to help identify gaps between programmatic offerings and employer hiring needs, and consider creating a leadership program for high school students that focuses really on deepening their community connections. So not only can students who are in high school choose to stay here with a greater awareness of job opportunities, but those who leave also have a greater awareness of job opportunities in Rancho to potentially come back after leaving for secondary education opportunities. Fourth is convening an action committee of business leaders to identify issues and solutions to employment barriers. Here we chose to highlight childcare and transportation because those are the two we heard about most in our stakeholder outreach. The idea here being bringing together, again, those different players, such as employers, transit agencies, and transportation planners to get an understanding of the needs of the region's workforce and the region's employers to help identify priorities for future action. And again, we're very much taking the economic sort of lens on this particular item. We'd also, of course, encourage creating those connections between housing, jobs, and educational opportunities where those gaps arise, and consider launching pilot programs as a factor for future decision-making so that maybe you're able to put in some sort of temporary infrastructure and see if it makes a difference before launching a capital project. Next steps. After this, tomorrow we are meeting with staff to be focused on an implementation workshop. What we provide is called an implementation matrix. That matrix takes every single strategy and action in the plan, allows us to identify a order of priority, order of operations for when different things are taken on. We're also able to identify leads and partners. We do see economic development as a lead on a number of items. We also see them as a partner and a supporting player, especially when we're looking, for example, at the workforce space. And so we'll be working with staff to get that set up. But in the meantime, I think we will yield for any questions.
The one question, what does BRE stand for?
Business retention and expansion.
Thank you.
Sure.
And Vice Mayor, really, what we're talking about is just a methodical, memorialized, formal program where staff goes out, meets one-on-one with individual businesses across the city on a consistent basis. That information is captured in a CRM system so that 2 years from now, 3 years from now, people can understand what those conversations were. That way that you can track whether or not issues that were surfaced were addressed, if growth projections were met, or if there was some kind of challenge that existed that was addressed. So we always find it's a great way. In fact, Councilmember Gatewood recommended, I think in one of our earlier conversations, to leverage technology at every step that we possibly could. And so that's why we tried to think through the plan and think everywhere we could, we tried to apply a technology solution.
For those listening at home, a CRM stands for what?
Well, a CRM, customer relationship management system.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a CRM
I use
tool.
some
It
of
made
those.
me
Yeah.
sad that you took a breath. I
And
just
a-
want to tell you right
sorry.
now, my soul just went through my shoe and left. It was like, oh, he doesn't know what he had to look for help.
Wait, nobody knows what CRM
Everybody
actually
knows who
stands
does
for.
that. I
We
program
just
them
use the-
all the time.
We just use
I mean,
the
because
tool
you
all the
do that
time.
for
We
them. That's why I
don't.
wanna make
Yeah,
sure
we
that we're
don't know what
defining
it
this.
actually is like.
Salesforce.
The most important
CRM.
thing, like this is so far excellent what I'm hearing and what I've read. But the most important thing is the data has to be real. It's having a system that goes out and collects all the data and then yearly goes out and refreshes the data so that we know, so we can make educated guesses when we help out these community members and really grow this economic development. Because in the end, one of the most important things is we're bringing money into the city. And if you don't know who's in your city and you don't know how to help them, what good is this? So yes, this is excellent so far.
And it does help track your progress and seeing if you've actually done what you've said you're committed to do. So,
Yeah, one of the most important things, it would be amazing to have a dashboard that Micah could pull up and see where our problems are in our community, like instantaneously. Hit a button and all, you're like, here's the issues we have. Then you drill down and you see who's actually in that area and who's suffering from it. And then it's easier for us to come back and pass policies or just focus on it to really fix the problem.
I see, I just saw your soul come back down in.
Let me check
I'm gonna
if there
get-
if
yeah.
there are any public comments before I come back to council.
There's no public comments for item 19.2.
Okay, thank you. Councilmember Budge.
Yeah. So I don't have any questions. I just have some comments. Last spring, when we started this process, it seemed kind of nebulous, and how in the world were you going to pull all these pieces together? But what you've just presented really, and today, you know, the Chamber of Commerce is doing a variety of things, and they plan to do more. The city has embarked on a general plan update that really gives us the foundation to go out and look at a lot of options about what it is we have on the ground already and what we want on the ground in Rancho Cordova. And so what I'm seeing is really very much in step with everything that, and actually even Visit Rancho Cordova is doing, the kind of marketing that you all are talking about, and the kind of information gathering that the chamber is trying to embark on, and just even the thing, and I should explain, embark is purposeful, because when you talk about creating connections between entrepreneurs or small businesses, and embark is doing that. You know, it gives them introduction to other small business owners and a local connection to help further their own business and people to do business with. So that and Amanda's talent pipeline management thing. But everything is really coming together. The conversation we had with the city manager earlier tonight, a lot of things like this are all coming together at the right time. So I appreciate what you've done. I think my only caution, having sat on so many committees over so long, just be careful about how many committees you go out and establish. Because sometimes, you know, committees have a bad habit of taking on a life of their own. And we have been through, during the recession, we have been through periods where we had to admit that the process had become the product rather than actually having a producible, measurable product. And so we do want to avoid that at all costs. We do not want the process to become the product. But otherwise, I really like what you've put down today.
Yeah, I would echo it. This is the most comprehensive conversation that we've had, or presentation about it. Like, there's not a lot to add to it. You captured just about anything I could think of. So yeah, kudos, and looking forward to it being rolled out.
Okay, last question before we go to Siri. Since you guys are the most educated people we have here, what is the best job for a citizen of Rancho Cordova?
I think it's the one they love doing that also pays a livable wage, but I think that's a very subjective question.
That's a good answer.
Yeah, that's a
That's
very
a
good
lovely
answer.
diplomatic
Yeah.
answer.
You know, follow your passion with a purpose, all those good things.
And be able to afford a rent payment.
Yeah, not on a council member's salary, I can tell you that.
For sure.
But Councilmember, we remember 9 months ago, you asked that question during the interview, and we appreciate you asking, because it's a critical question.
The hardest part about all economic development, besides the fact, one, the most important thing is that you make money so the city can keep going. But the second one is, what job, if I was to get more of it and help it, would help the city run better and bring me better citizens? Is it you want more union jobs because those parents tend to be able to volunteer more in sports and athletes because they're off at 3? Is it you want higher wage jobs, so you want the Solidines and those jobs to come in because those parents are going to have a lot of discretionary income and those kids are going to be more chance of being affluent and being in our community? What job is it that's going to make Rancho Cordova better? And I can't honestly answer that yet, but I'll be able to tell as we get once I have data and I can see as we grow in a certain way, as long as the city keeps growing in a successful manner and we start seeing stuff, we can say, hey, we added these jobs, and this is what helped our cities kind of stay whole. Or the minute we started to see this group leave, it hurt our citizens and it made it less valuable in our community. Thank you.
I really think you're at a good time, and I'm sorry, Siri, I probably interrupted. I really think you're at a good time because Diane would agree that even what we heard from the new Folsom Cordova superintendent on Friday kind of definitely points in the direction of expanding the CTE opportunities and making sure that at least their district is on board with providing opportunities for our kids here in Rancho.
Thank you. Any other comments? Do we have a motion?
Oh, I move we approve this if that's...
Sorry, Mayor, do you have any comments?
I'll just second the motion.
Yeah.
Okay.
It wasn't staff input? You actually want to, this is an action item?
This is an action item.
Okay, cool.
You got 2?
Yeah.
Roll call.
Councilmember Budge,
Yes.
Councilmember Gatewood,
Yes.
Councilmember Terry,
Aye.
Vice Mayor Pulapati,
Yes.
Mayor Sander.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Do we have any comment on 19.3?
Yes,
We have public comment?
yes.
Can we just take the public comment? I don't think we even need a presentation on this.
So let me read the subject.
Go ahead.
So can I ask the city clerk to read the subject?
A resolution for the
There shouldn't be any
108
discussion for it. Go
A
ahead.
resolution for the 180-day wait period exception for hiring Elizabeth Sparkman as a temporary extra help employee under Government Code Sections 7522.56 and 21224.
Yeah, I don't think any of us need a presentation on this.
Okay, let's go for public comment.
All right, well, we have 2. James Garcia. Following James will be Helen Whalen-Bashaw.
I know, it's us again. But James Garcia, resident of Stone Creek. I would like not to have this happen. You have a resolution that has unfortunately the wrong date on it, for one. There's a spot where it states May 2nd, 2024 is when she was eligible to actually do it, and that's prior to her retirement of 11/2/2024. Should have been 5/2/2025 if you were actually going to go forward with it. So typo there. But the fact is, she retired. Why would we hire somebody back for this particular purpose? There is 180 days to allow people to actually take retirement. They retired. Allow them to retire, not come back to work. Plus, there's no postings at all for the open position. So don't know why we would be hiring somebody back who already retired. So those are the big things. We really, really shouldn't be doing it. Let her retire.
Second speaker is Helen Whalen-Bashaw.
It's me again. I agree with James. What I don't understand is she did a presentation with the person that took her position over, and she talked about how qualified she was. If you knew you were going to be needing somebody to help augment the current staffing, why didn't you put it out for public bid? I do believe that you've already made up your mind because you didn't do the presentation. It doesn't matter what any of the citizens are going to say, but I find it appalling to, with the number of people we have in this community that have the engineering background, to not put it out for a public bid. Any other government agency, I've never known for them to waive a person who's been retired less than a month to come back to fill a position prior to serving their 180 days. To me, it doesn't make any sense. If you needed her, you should have asked her to extend longer. It makes me wonder if the person that got the position that she left is even qualified for the job. Is she a engineer? Does she have a license and education in engineering? I just think this is a wrong decision you're making. It's setting a tone that the city lets people retire and they're going to offer them to come back and make, was it $82,000 for the short time she's going to be working? It just doesn't make sense. It doesn't look good for the city as a whole. It makes me wonder, are we really, the people higher up that are doing the hiring and stuff, if they're really picking the best candidate? Thank you.
I serve on 3 commissions or boards that have taken this action in the last 12 months. This happens all the frickin' time, and you two don't know what the hell you're talking about. Move the item.
Second.
I would actually ask Micah to respond to that a little bit. When we have this kind of a comment, I'd really like if the city manager can respond and talk on our behalf.
So, sure, Mayor. I think, for what we do here, we do lots of complicated things all the time. And so I think we utilize resources that are good and that are capable to the best of their ability. And this is a process that has been used in other places, and that is a pretty common thing to do. And I think we do want our team to enjoy their retirement, but we also have opportunities to continue the work and continue the capabilities that folks have, even in retirement. And so I think it's something that we will continue to do and continue to take advantage of good quality people when we can at the best time.
Thank you,
We're
Mike.
lucky that she agreed to help us.
And through the Vice Mayor, if I may, just could you correct the date in the 3rd recital that the public referred to?
So,
Yes.
thank you. City Clerk, we do have a motion.
Yes. We should just make sure that the motion includes the corrected.
Exactly. It would be a motion to substitute the retirement date for the date in the 3rd whereas.
It's fine.
You good?
Mm-hmm.
I'm good.
Okay. Councilmember Budge.
Yes.
Councilmember Terry.
Aye.
Councilmember Gatewood. Vice Mayor Pulapati.
Yes.
Mayor Sander.
Aye.
Okay, motion passes, and we're going to go to agenda item 20. Do we have any future agenda items?
Yeah, I got like 20.
Yeah, this is your time that you can ask.
Lay them out.
You have to get the support for it.
I got a
Donald.
bunch of things you guys need to be working on.
Yeah, okay.
I think the city attorney has something to share.
And just if I could ask, there's a bit of a technical order since we adjourned the prior meeting. So if I could ask you, Madam Vice Mayor, if you would, before adjourning, before item 21, we would be actually reconvening, as we indicated at the beginning of the meeting, reconvening and continuing the special meeting closed session to continue the performance evaluations for the city manager and city attorney. And then we might actually have a possible report out of those closed sessions and then continue on with the adjourn to closed session for the regular meeting agenda items after that.
So do we ask for public comment now, or?
Yes, please.
Okay. Any public comment for the?
Reconvene special meeting
That one.
Yes, performance evaluation. The continued.
Hearing none, we will go to that closed session.